humans are not meant to see the most vile and horrific things on earth. We are not built for that. That is not what we are built to do. We are built to seek connection. We are built to seek each other out. We are herd animals. There is very few, if any, people that can truly go out into the middle of the wilderness, last frontiers of Alaska, Arctic Circle, middle of the desert, doesn't matter, that can survive by themselves.
Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Dispatch. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review on Spotify, YouTube, whatever you guys want to do. We do appreciate that. Our merch is out on beyondthedispatch.com. If you want a shirt, hit it up. We only have select sizes left and colors. We are selling out pretty quick, you guys. So if you want to support the channel, we got hats, all that stuff, koozies, stickers. This episode is brought to you by Murphy Carter Law. If you're looking for an attorney, look no further than Murphy Carter Law. They will treat you like family. That I know for a fact. Ask for Rick Murphy. Tell him Beyond the Dispatch sent you. This episode is going to be a good one, you guys. We have Ken in the studio. Ken is a medically retired police officer. He was in a police-involved shooting. Ken is a jack of all trades. He has his own business for consulting. And actually, I'm just going to flip it to you, brother, to tell the rest of your accolades because I don't want to mess it up. But, brother, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Dom, for having me out here. It's a pleasure. And, again, especially seeing that you know some of the people that I know.
Yeah.
And that's really a cool thing because in this world, the real ones know the real ones, and watching your stuff so far, I've become a huge fan, and I knew I had to reach out to you.
Oh, brother, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me on and for getting back to me. But accolades, I don't know if I would call them accolades. I'm just a guy just trying to figure shit out in this world, and then just trying to figure out how to be human. But again, right now, I own my own LLC. It's 3 Block Solutions, which is basically a consulting firm that deals a lot with government agencies, first responders, fire departments, police departments, communications, our telecommunicators, dispatch, and stuff like that. And really my message to them and the services I provide them is really programs and cultural assessments on their employee wellness, because of the exposure to cumulative amounts of trauma and everything that this job can take from you and what it causes you sometimes to be. We really need to start addressing it. And it's one thing that I saw that was lacking when I was working, because before I did all this, I was a police officer for 18 and a half years, 4th generation law enforcement officer in my family. And I was, like you said before, I was involved in an officer-involved shooting that ultimately took that dream away from me. You know, growing up, there was only 2 things I ever wanted to be in this world, and that was either one, a cowboy or a cop. So grew up in the city of Chicago in the suburbs, so there's not a lot of open ranges, and there's not a lot of horses to wrangle up there. So I guess the police was what I had to do. So, again, the injuries sustained in my officer-involved shooting just kind of precluded me from ever living that dream anymore. Physically, I couldn't do it, as you kind of understand.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I had this vision kind of come to me when I was going through my own healing process and my own existential crisis about what does it mean to be Ken and to be human. And the one thing that I wanted to do is I found this thought that just got in my head, and I'm like, I couldn't get it out. So I knew it had to be right. And it was using my voice and my experience to really reach the helpers who are doing all the helping. Those frontline cops, those frontline firefighters, dispatchers, and everybody who's exposed to the rest of the world and all the traumatic stuff that goes on in people's days that we get called for. And I wanted to be able to sit there and say to them, no matter how bad it is, it can and it does get better when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I'm saying? And so the question really became like, well, how do I do that? How do I use my voice? Yes, I could sit up there and stand up like a lot of other professionals out there. And it's like, yeah, I was in this officer-involved shooting. This is what happened, yada, yada, yada. I knew that I needed some academic backing. Again, I've always been a very curious person, and I always wanted to understand kind of why things are the way they are or how they work, just so I can get a better understanding, because sometimes you listen to these training presentations from other clinicians or other people talking to cops, again, specifically, that's kind of the room that I was sitting in and listening to these people. They're always talking at me. Like
Right.
you ever sit with that person? They're just like, yeah, they're just kind of talking at me. They're not really talking with me, and they're just kind of
100%.
saying all this stuff. And it's like, well, have you ever pushed around a squad car? Do you kind of know what it's like to walk around in the middle of the night searching the backyards for an armed robbery offender where you don't know if he's going to pop out with a pistol, knife, or whatever? Like, do you get that, or the stress and how you have to miss birthdays, how you have to miss holidays, how your family doesn't get to see you, or when you come home that you just have that call that you just can't get rid of. Like, do you understand that? And it's nothing against them, and that's not what I'm trying to say here. It's more about, I wanted someone that if I was sitting in the seat, if they were to come in and talk, I'd be like, man, that dude or gal knows exactly what's up.
Right.
The real ones know the real ones.
Right.
And it's like, okay. So I wanted to be that person, and knowing that I had to get the academic backing. So, while I was in the process of duty disabilitying out from my injuries, I went back to school, applied to a master's degree program in social work at Aurora University, which was a weird experience because I had to type an essay, and I had to explain why I didn't have a 3.0 GPA in my undergrad, which I did way back in 2005 when I was first in there. And it's like, yeah, I went to Western Illinois and I was a law enforcement major.
Right.
I was more concerned about a lot of other things at the time and hanging out with my friends and doing this. And it's like, I was a good test taker. So that's really kind of all I just took tests, got my grades, and I was done.
Right.
I was going to be a copper. That's all I knew, and that's all I wanted to be. So filling out the form and going through and starting this master's program while I'm going all through this and really taking it seriously, because again, it was just stuck in my head. It's just something I needed to do. So I went and got my master's degree in social work, and along the way, I also became a certified alcohol and drugs counselor. So with a master's degree in social work through the state of Illinois, you could also become a licensed social worker. It's like kind of the first step to getting a full clinical license. So I can actually do therapy, one-on-one therapy or group facilitation with people, and get insurance companies to bill them and stuff like that. With my current license that I have now, I have to do it under supervision with someone who has at least an LCSW, LCPC, or is like a psychologist or something like that, with that higher level to supervise me, just to make sure that what I'm seeing is, and what I'm saying is right and done in the proper way. So again, outside of the therapy, outside of my consulting and doing these training programs with police departments, fire departments, telecommunicators, I also provide individual therapy for first responders, because those are my people.
Right.
And those are the people I get, and those are the people that I just gel with. Because when it comes to therapy, if you've ever been in therapy, as much as it is about you being there, it's about that connection you have with your therapist. And we call it goodness of fit in our field, where you have to make sure that you guys are just, simpatico, and there's a lot of first responders, and there's a lot of people who are just like, I went to my therapist and they just kind of sat there with a bump on a log, and they just kind of asked me, well, how does that make you feel?
Right.
What I found is first responders really don't want to hear that.
No, at all.
That's you just don't want to sit there and spill your guts about some of the most traumatic stuff you've seen in the field, and just like, well, how did that make you feel? Well, it sucked. Where else do you want me to go with this?
Right.
Like, well, how did that make you feel, not knowing how to say it? I don't know. We keep going down the same path.
Right.
The first responders I've talked to necessarily don't vibe with that. But what I found was when I was able to sit down and talk with them, they got it.
Yeah. Because
I get it. And that's really a big piece of what I like to do. So besides the consulting, besides the programs that I have, that's another piece of the puzzle, but it's not the main piece of the puzzle. The main piece of the puzzle is speaking to officers who are still in it, who are out of it, or who are just looking to get into it on all sides for the first responders and stuff like that, and letting them know that, hey, what you're getting into in this job is tough and it takes from you, but you know what? when you learn to think a little bit differently and you really take a step back and pull yourself back, you can really have the best life ever. Like, again, there's nothing wrong with having the ordinary life, but the people who want to help and serve, man, they're destined for so much more. They're destined to be what I call extraordinary. And sometimes being extraordinary and taking those big steps and those big leaps of faith, it takes a lot of courage. And we are the type of people who are able to do that. We're the people to say, you know what? The gunshots are ringing out. I'm going. And if you can do that, and if you can do that wearing polyester and Kevlar, imagine what you can do outside of that for your family, for your friends, and for the people that you surround yourself with. You can make a real impact in this world. And that is really my message to everyone out there.
It's a beautiful message, brother.
It's just, I don't know. It just came.
It just came to you? Well, I mean, the podcast is over because I feel like we touched everything
all right
now.
See you later. No. I mean, again, there's a lot more, but that's that's the basis. That's what that's me. That's, you know, the message behind 3 Block Solutions and everything like that. And then there's meaning behind my company's name and everything like that. And we'll get into that later on and everything like that. But that's me kind of in a nutshell.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here for, is just to let people know that it doesn't have to be ordinary, man.
100%, brother. And what you just said is, I mean, speaks true to me. 100% definitely resonates with me, and I'm sure it will resonate to people who are listening for sure. And I mean, I've been to countless police trainings. I'm sure you've been to countless police trainings. Matt has been to. Matt is old as dirt, you guys. So he's been to.
He still looks good though.
Looks great.
Looks fantastic.
Has been to a lot of police trainings. So it's just like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk like that in a law enforcement training class.
Really?
And yeah, and also
Neither have I.
with the police academy too. It's like they don't teach you how to handle the things that you're going to see in your career.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge negative in law enforcement. I think that needs to be brought to the forefront.
And that's kind of like really where a lot of like one of my presentations that I put on, I've given it in a couple different places already. Again, I was at the Cops National Convention down in New Orleans last year. I've given it at a few other symposiums around here in Illinois, and a modified version of it for telecommunicators down at IPSTA at their Illinois Telecommunicators Conference and stuff like that last year. But it's this program I call Where Does It Go? And like, well, what the hell is where does it go? And it's like, well, it's a simple question. Because every police officer that I've ever met that has gone through the academy, and I remember it, yes, going back to 2005 when I was in the police academy, is here is how you survive the job. Don't take it home with you.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, wait, what? But this is what they also say is like, well, if you don't take it home with you, okay, well, can I have it at work? Well, no. You can't have it at work either, because you need to be professional.
Right.
You need to be calm, cool, and collected, and you have to be that stoic, archetype police officer that we have in the world. Okay, all right. So if I can't take it home with me, but I also can't have it at work, then where does it go?
Right.
Then what do I do with it? And really, the program centers around all these traumas that we face in the job, because it is the job. And the job is just basically the culmination of service to others under the most chaotic and trauma-infused situations where you are required to act professionally and empathetically under all circumstances.
Right.
Without, again, it's like you can't fail at that, or else you're Facebook famous. You're the guy that the media is calling out and politicians are calling for your head. So you have to keep that all. So you store all that up inside you, all these traumatic exposures, whether it's not having enough manpower on the street, whether it's dealing with, a deceased child, or just getting into a fight with, an offender, or problems that you're having at home, or even let's even go further back, because trauma carries with us. And that's one thing that I learned about getting my master's degree, doing my research on cumulative trauma and how all this happens is it's all stored, because it's the way our brains and our body process it. So it just gets stored in you, and it's just held up. And the big analogy that I use is we all have closets, we all have a closet in our head, And all our traumatic experiences, just imagine them as dirty clothes and just throw them in there. You just keep throwing them in there. Keep throwing them in there. What happens when you're not doing any laundry? What happens when you're not taking care of your stuff, taking care of whatever you need to, and you just keep throwing dirty clothes in there? What's ultimately going to happen in that closet?
Oh, dude, you got the big buildup.
It's just going to be a big buildup. It's going to start to stink. Everyone around you is going to start to notice it. And soon enough, the doors are just going to bust open, and this is what you're going to see.
Oh, 100%. That's a great analogy.
Well, thank you. That's what it is. Thank you. Oh, a good idea every once in a while.
Every now and then.
Broken clock over here. So ultimately, if this is where all our traumas are going into this closet, and it has all these biological and emotional effects on us that are not just impacting us, but impacting everyone around us, friends, family, children, our peers at work, our community members that we are there to serve and protect. If they're all feeling it, then we're not effective. Then are we really doing the job?
Right.
So you have to learn how to ultimately, you got to learn how to wash your clothes, man. You got to wash your clothes, put them away, take care of them, because at the same time, grief and trauma just doesn't go away. Like, you ever heard those expressions where, I've heard it when I've done grief group counseling. People tell me like, man, people just tell me just to get over it. Why didn't I think of that?
Right. Exactly. Oh my, it was that easy?
It's just that easy just to get over it? Like, dude, it doesn't work that way.
At all.
Like, anyone who's lost a significant loved one, or any police officer, firefighter, whatever, vet who has that one experience, that one call that just sticks with them, it just doesn't go away. You carry it. And it's always going to be there. But if you learn how to clean it and process it and put your clothes away the way they're supposed to be and take care of those moments, then you just learn how to carry them a little better.
Oh, amen, brother.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately, again, like my big one that I have is, again, it's just where does it go? And it really talks about the biological and effects of it. Also identifying some of the symptoms that most officers don't even know that they're having. They're just like, oh yeah, it's normal that I completely that I do this. Yeah, it's normal that I fly off the handle and have all these emotional outbreaks, or I have to always make sure that I sit with my back to the wall and make sure that I'm washing every single person's hands as they're coming into the
establishment.
The fast food or whatever, or that I worry about sending my kids down the street because there's child sex offenders out here and that's
not normal.
That's not normal.
No.
Isn't it normal that that you can't fall asleep at night? Isn't it normal that you're just supposed to wake up completely exhausted even though you had 6-7 hours of sleep?
Right.
But you're not getting in the deep REM sleep at all?
No, nervous system's out of whack, baby.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. And just the effect of all the trauma on the limbic system and the nervous system and all that just builds in and builds in the rest of the body.
Yeah. It's so true when you say those things, because it's like when I started to go through therapy, my therapist would say, things you're telling me, like, this is not normal. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I am, like, you start to think you're like, oh, I'm not okay. Like, but you become so preconditioned to think those things are okay because that's your day-to-day life. That's how you've been living for the past how many years.
Mm-hmm.
So that becomes your new normal, and that is not normal. No. And that's not a way to live your life either, because you're missing out on so much of your life, not just your life, but your kids, your loved ones, your wife. I mean, all of those things.
1,000%. And again, and I hate using the word like, well, that's not normal. I'm a big fan of verbiage and language. I think it's important how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to other people and the things absolutely. We say. So when I say that it's not normal, well, yes, it is normal for, again, people in the front line, but just because it's not normal to the rest of the general population doesn't mean you're broken. All it means is that your body is doing what it's supposed to do.
Right.
It is a normal reaction that this happens because this is the way the body and brain are processing all this. Humans are not meant to see the most vile and horrific things on earth. Right. We are not built for that. That is not what we are built to do. We are built to seek connection. We are built to seek each other out. We are herd animals. There is very few, if any, people that can truly go out into the middle of the wilderness, last frontiers of Alaska, Arctic Circle, middle of the desert, doesn't matter, that can survive by themselves.
Right.
People don't do that. Again, you have a child and you can give them all the food and nutrition in the world, but if they don't have connection and love from a parent or a caretaker, they will not thrive. They will not grow. Their body and their brain will not develop properly.
Right.
And that tells us that we need connection. We don't need to see the worst of the worst all the time. And doing that, again, here's our natural response to that. This is what it looks like, whether it's lack of sleep, whether it's irritable outbursts, whether it's ruminating thoughts, whether it's avoidance, whether it's suppression of thoughts, emotions, wanting to isolate, not finding pleasure in things that you used to love to do, and all these other things. That is your body's way of trying to protect itself, its integrity, against everything that you've seen and everything you've done in this world.
Oh, 100%. 100%. No, brother, listen, that's all extremely good stuff to listen to and to abide by and to put into your life. I mean, take a step back and look at yourself, you know, and think and take some time away from electronics, from technology, from turning off your TV, stop watching the news, sit in a quiet room and actually think the thoughts are going through your head, you know, be inside your head, go through those thoughts and, you know, start meditating or, you know, start, you know, processing everything that you've been through, because you, just like you said, the dirty laundry, brother, like it's going to get packed up and it's going to get backed up and impacted.
1,000%. And one of the biggest, you know, evidence, empirically based treatments for PTSD, traumatic responses and all that stuff, a lot of it centers around mindfulness. Again, I utilize a study that shows veterans who had chronic PTSD, and they took brain scans of them, and it shows, and in the brain scans, it shows how the neural pathways between the limbic system, the base part of your brain, your kind of primal brain, your instinctive side, it's neural pathways with the prefrontal cortex, where we make all our executive function, where we make our good decisions, where we make our where we have like thoughtful understanding and this, that, and the other. It shows that those pathways have been deteriorated due to all this traumatic exposure. That's because when you are in the face of, when you're constantly in survival mode, all your body can do is react with that limbic system, with that primal brain, because all it is concerned about is survival and protecting yourself and protecting the species that is human. Mm-hmm. That is all it's functioning on. So if all of it's doing is functioning here in the midbrain, then you're not getting the connection with, hey, hold on, let me think about these decisions I have to make, because you're not worried about what's going to happen 2 months from now. You're worried about the saber-toothed tiger that's chasing you down right now and right in that moment. And that's similar, again, with this PTSD study. It shows that they're not there. However, when you introduce mindfulness in conjunction with different behavioral interventions and stuff like that, CBT, DBT, CPT, the list goes on and on. But when you introduce mindfulness into it, it actually shows down the road that these neural pathways start to reform and start to bring back. Because that prefrontal cortex starts to come back online. And this is how I understand it, and I can say this to cops and this, that, and the other. Pulling up to accident with injuries, rollover, and this, that, and the other. You're pulling up to the scene. How many thoughts are going through your head in one moment?
Oh, thousands.
Yeah. Imagine doing that for 8, 10, 12 hours a day constantly.
Yep.
You think faster than the speed of life. So if you are constantly thinking, and if you are constantly assessing the situation, looking for danger and this, that, and the other, when you start to be mindful, and by be mindful, it could be meditation, it could be yoga, it could be all these other things. It could be sitting in the woods and just being there. What you're training your body and your mind to do is to stop thinking so fast and really take a hold of and take account and make all the observations in the world of what's going on right here in that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where life is happening. Life isn't happening in the past. It's not happening in the future either. It's happening right now in the present. So if you're able to train your mind to do that, you will start to feel a whole 1,000 times better.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and a lot of sometimes I tell my clients, or just even anyone out there, if you got 5-10 minutes a day, this is what I say. Take 5 minutes. First thing in the morning in a safe, quiet spot, whether it's in bed where, again, you're not running around to get the kids out the door, whether you're running around to make sure you're late for work or whatever. Take 5 minutes and just sit.
It's huge.
And just notice everything that's going on in the world. Yeah, all these thoughts are going to come into your brain. Oh, I got this to do today. I got that to do today. I got this. I got that. Just, they're there, but just let them go. Just like, oh, yeah, okay. Nope. Keep passing, letting them go, and just sit and start to notice things. I've done it in session with clients that have come in. They're just absolutely, they're hyped up. They just got off a shift, and they're, oh, man, this happened, and this happened. I had this and this. And they're trying to talk through stuff with me during a therapy session. And I'm like, oh, just let's take 1 minute. Find something in the room, whatever it is. Find it, look for it. Okay, you see that on the wall? You see a couple pens on my desk. Okay, look at that. And just focus on it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when you're done. Just sit. Just notice everything that's going on right now in your body, how you're feeling. 5 minutes passes and they're like, whoa. Wow.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I live that. Like when I do not meditate, my brain's scattered all over the place. My word finding, word structure, like all the thought process. Like if I'm not meditating, my thought process is like cloudy and foggy, and I don't feel like the same person. But when I do meditate, like just like you said, taking 10, 15, even 5 minutes, like everyone could find 5 minutes.
And that's why I'm like, hey, I'm not asking for the world. When we're going to start making changes in our lives and what we do, just take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes at the front of your day, 5 minutes at the end. Or guys coming home from a shift, I'm like, hey man, you park in the driveway, whoever's taking care of the kids or whatever responsibilities, make sure that's always taken care of. But if you got 5 minutes, just sit in the car. And I'm not talking about doom scrolling on your phone.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just telling you, just sit.
Yeah, take that deep breath and sit.
Sit with it.
Yep. 100%.
And it's a start. Or another one I always like to do is, you ever driven without the radio on?
Yes, I love it.
Right?
Love it.
Well, why would I do that? That's crazy. I'm like, no, it's not. Because it's forcing you and it's artificially putting you into the present. Because all you need to worry about in that moment is not what's on the radio, not flipping to your favorite Beyond the Dispatch podcast and make sure you're getting that. It is what's going on right now, right in the moment, what's important now, and it just lets you focus.
Yeah. And you find that you start to enjoy life a little bit more because all we do is distract ourselves with this, distract ourselves with that. Yes. Like you forget to live your life. Mm-hmm. And when you blink and it's, it was Monday, now it's Friday. Well, you just spent all that time not being present and aware of what's going on in your life. That's why things are going so fast.
Exactly. The days are slow, but the years are fast.
Yeah.
It's an old adage or whatever that I've heard, especially when it comes to like raising kids and stuff like that. And you forget that, but you have to take time to sit back and reflect on the present. And I'm a big person, a big proponent of the present. And a lot of my basis for what you can do, because again, when I talk in my presentations about all the scientific stuff and all this and blah, 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 and research, that's all cool. That's all well and good. What do we do about it? And I start with very simple concept. I'm like, listen, first, obviously it's honesty with yourself, but honestly, there's two things you need to understand in this world. There's two things that you cannot change no matter what you do. Two things. Number one, can't choose who your parents are.
100%.
Can't change where you came from. Nothing you can do with that. Number two, your time on this earth is temporary.
Oh, yeah.
You will die.
And it's a big rock and it's spinning fast, brother. And we are we are living in such a small, minute part of time.
Yes, we are. When you can wrap your head around those two things, it's up to here we go to the next part. Again, you understand that you can't change where you came from and you can't change where you're going. Same thing. Look at our pasts. Can you do anything about what you just said to me 5 seconds ago, or the words that maybe I just stumbled over 5 minutes ago? Yeah. I mean, maybe through editing, you can change a little bit and make it
two things. Yeah.
Look a little better. Make sure you put filters on.
Gotcha.
Appreciate you. How about the team? But you can't take that away. It's gone. It's done. It's in the past. You have zero control over the past. Now think about that for the future. Do you have any control over the future?
No. Only what you do right now.
Exactly. There's 8 billion people in this world right now, all making decisions, all saying things, all doing things, and a lot of people that we will never ever know, never ever hear of. Does not matter. They're making choices right now in this moment that will shape the rest of the future and how this world will end up. And you have zero control over them.
Right.
Where do you have control?
In your own life, in the present.
Right now.
Yep.
In this present, in this moment. We are not perfect human beings by far. I can write more books and more papers about every mistake that I've ever made in this world.
Oh, we all could, right?
1,000%. But it's not about what I did that was great or what I did that I really screwed up at. It's not about that. It's about me taking this moment right here in time to sit here and talk with you.
100%.
And get my voice out and help those that get to still live the dream of being out there and helping other people. Because again, police, fire, dispatchers in America, we're all volunteers. No one's holding the gun to your head saying, you know what, hey, you have to be a police officer. No one is doing that.
Right.
We're all volunteers. And if someone is holding the gun, just like let me know. Just hit in the comments. Just like I'll come get you. Promise.
We'll send somebody.
We'll send somebody. But we are choosing to do that because that is your choice. And here comes my next point when I talk about choices and the choices that we make, and we talk about control because choices and control are kind of all in the same thing. And I usually use the kind of idea of a hula hoop. Throw a hula hoop over yourself. That's what you are in control over.
Absolutely.
That's it, my man. I have no control over my kids.
Right.
I could tell them things, but it's ultimately their choice to either listen to me and do their homework and put their clothes away and their shoes away, or just scream at me and yell or do that.
Yeah.
It's everyone's choice in the world what they're going to do with it. Yeah, I can try to influence it the best I can, but in the end, it's still their choice. So what are my choices? What am I doing for myself? What am I doing to be the best father, to be the best man, to be the best, business owner or therapist or whatever, or just being human? What am I doing?
Right.
So then we can start to take a look at ourselves and we start taking a look at what we do day in, day out. And when we start understanding what's in our control, how we can't control the past and really how we can't control the future. We can only control the present, and I can't change the past, and I really can't change the future because I'm ending up the same way either way. Now we can start taking a look at where your priorities lie and making sure they align with you. Because the great thing about those 8 billion people in the world that I talked about earlier that are making choices right now, here and there, is every single one of them is unique and special in their own right, and they get to choose what's best for them. Because just like I had my vision about helping first responders and telling my story and being out there and being, just trying to lead by example and just doing what I can to let others know that it doesn't have to be the shitty way anymore. That vision's in my head, but your vision was completely different than mine, and that's what's so special, and that's what's great about this world and being around people who get these things.
Right.
Because that is the coolest freaking thing.
Oh, yeah.
I have my vision. You have your vision. How can we work together? And that's when we breed connection. And that's when we can build better lives, better agencies, better families, better everything for the rest of the world when we realize that we are all in this thing together.
Right.
And yeah, we don't get the call to come to birthday parties unless the birthday party has a drunk uncle fighting the mom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when we're getting a call on the birthday party. But it's all these other moments that are in our life that we get a chance to do a little bit better.
Oh, 100%, brother. And you said it best, like control. Like what do cops always want to do? We want to control the scene. We want to control the situation. Mm-hmm. And we hyper focus on that. And even people in their day-to-day lives who are not a first responder in the military or anything like that. Like anyone who's listening now who's not in this field, like what do you want to do? You're trying to control everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. If you can't control it, don't let it dictate your emotions.
No. Why are you giving someone else the keys to the apartment in your head, man?
Exactly.
Again, just because, This guy on the street called me every name up and down the book. I've been called plenty of them.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
Same.
man, a lot.
Bet. I'm sure you could have some colorful comments to bring to that part of the conversation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Again, I've heard some good ones too. Even ones I like sit back and like, man, that was pretty good. I'm gonna have to save that for later. That's good. But in the end, like they don't.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Murphy Carter Law. This one I'm proud to announce. This is a great partnership with us. They are a phenomenal law firm. I've known Rick for a very long time. He's a fantastic guy. Heart of gold. He supports organizations like Project Fire Buddies who give back to kids with terminal illness. This guy cares. He is a staunch advocate for first responders. He's just a blue-collar guy. He really is. He was a union construction worker at one point, and now he's just a shark in the courtroom. And that's just a fact. You're not going to go wrong by going with Murphy Carter Law. I promise you that. They will fight for you like they fight for their own family, like they fight for their mother, like they fight for their father, their brother, or their sister. That's just who they are. And they advocate for you guys. I promise they will fight for you guys tooth and nail. That's what they're all about, to make you guys whole again, or to get you close to that as possible and by any means necessary. They've won major cases already. I have some notes over here. They have $11.5 million truck accident case. They have a $9.5 million medical malpractice case and another $7.1 million delivery truck accident. They handle their business. If you're looking for a lawyer, if you've been in a situation like Carrie and I have, Murphy Carter Law, check them out. Go to murphycarterlaw.com. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Tell them that Beyond the Dispatch sent you. All right, dude. So we're back from break, brother. So let's dive into your background. Let's dive into your law enforcement career, all that good stuff.
Right on, man. So I'm what they call a legacy. I'm fourth generation law enforcement. My great grandfather was a Chicago policeman.
Let's go.
My grandfather was a Chicago fireman, then became a Chicago policeman.
That's backwards, isn't it?
It is backwards. Kind of weird. It's very odd. And then my father was worked with Cook County Sheriff's Department for 28 and a half years. After he retired, he ended up going to be, he became a fireman for a volunteer fire department up in northern Wisconsin where they live now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So again, just continuing to do something because, as cops, you always learn that you can't stop the body. You got to keep going, or else you can't just sit around, or else bad things happen health-wise and stuff like that. So he ended up, joining the volunteer fire department, did a couple stints as the chief, and then he's still doing it to this day, not as active, because what he did a lot was he was the ambulance driver, really is what he did. And then
it's an important job, brother.
It is. So up there in their protection district, they privatized the ambulance crew out. So now he just kind of responds to the fires and stuff like that, and drives the fire trucks and all the 4th of July and firemen's picnic parades up there and stuff like that.
What a cool gig, though.
Oh man, every year I go up there. Me and the kids, we ride in the fire truck.
Oh,
they blow the siren. They're throwing candy to all the kids. It's absolutely Again, it's a cool experience that they get to do that. And,
life is good, brother.
And I don't mind riding the fire truck.
No.
Again.
You can't. You can't. It's cool. It's cool.
I'm not mad. I was just jealous. I just got in the wrong line. And every cop will tell you that.
Oh, for sure.
So, so fourth generation. And like I said, growing up, it's really the only thing I ever knew I was going to do. I was going to be the police. There was just no question. It's like, oh, yeah, Ken. Yeah, but he's a cop. You're going to be a cop. Cop family. Yeah. He's going to be a cop.
It's in the blood, brother.
It is. And so I knew I was going to do that. Graduated high school, went to Western Illinois University. It was
Leathernecks, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, it was like, hey, it's the top law enforcement school in the country. Well, now I know to ask the question, well, what makes it the top law enforcement school in the country?
Right.
I don't know. That's just what they say. That's just what they say.
Yeah. Not saying much at all.
That's just what they say. Like, oh, wow, where can we put a bunch of kids in the cornfields and this, that, and the other, and let their idle hands have fun with that.
Was the block party alive and well back then as well?
So that block,
was it the Wheeler block party?
The Wheeler block party.
I've experienced it.
Okay, so it was alive, but the event that got the shoot, like I forget what unit it was or whatever, their field force team out there for that big whatever. That I was gone after that. But it was I had already left prior to that big dust up where they were spraying pepper spray in the field force. You were there?
I was there. Some kid had a bike. I don't know if he lit it on fire or not, but he had a bike. He was like throwing it at the response team. Yeah.
You were there partaking?
I was not partaking. No, I was actually down the street. So the local law enforcement there, that response team had like a house set up, right? And we were watching them going in and out. And you saw some dude in the back with binos on. And he's like watching everybody.
Sure.
And my buddy had a sign that he made, and it says "No fat chicks." Like I was not partaking in this, you guys, but college kids back then, right? So he's
context
holding
of the time.
100%. He's holding it up. We're all shit faced in the front yard.
No.
And then you see this guy with the binos like pointing at us, and then he's calling more guys out. And next thing you know, there's like 10, 15 cops on the back porch, like pointing, laughing at us. It was fucking hilarious. But so the block party kicked off, or was kicking off, and then all of a sudden you hear sirens. You hear I don't know. They had some type of like machine, like you hear it, like an audible noise. It was like loud. They're throwing flashbangs. Like it was nuts, dude. It was nuts.
Saw some of the YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
So did you go to Western?
No, one of my best friends went to Western at the time, and we went to go visit during the Wheeler block party, and it was a shit show.
Oh man.
I actually got 2 drinking tickets that weekend. Yeah. Bad luck.
Yeah. So I went to Western 01 to 05. So it was I was there for that, and it was
crazy.
Yeah, again, the school now, from what I take, is just completely different. It's completely changed. But anyway, but it was the top law enforcement school in the country, supposedly. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my degree.
Criminal justice, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, like, hey, there's nothing that says flexibility with a degree in law enforcement and justice administration.
I would just like to make a public service announcement.
Oh, please.
To anyone, any person out there thinking about becoming the police, do not get a criminal justice degree.
I second that.
Yeah, don't do that. Do anything else.
Anything else.
Social work, business, anything.
All solid majors. Do it. So part of my degree was I had to do an internship with a police department. So I went to the Rolling Meadows Police Department, a suburb just outside of Chicago. I went to Rolling Meadows High School. One of my buddies was a Rolling Meadows copper at the time. He had just graduated from Western too. And I was like, shoot, I'm going to go do this. Like, awesome. It's by the house and, it'd be cool. So my internship coordinator at the time, he's like, listen, you want to be the police. Got that. That's cool. What you need to do and what you really need to start focusing on is you need to start testing. And you need to start testing like now. Because the average time from testing to getting hired on in a police department in 2005 is like 2 years.
Yeah, it was a long process.
Again, you'd go to these tests and, hundreds of people there. Hey, we got one spot.
Yep.
Good luck.
100%.
Yeah, I hope you're fantastic and do everything and hit every key point that you need to here. So he's like, you need to start doing that. You need to start doing that now. So part of your requirements, obviously attending, your ride-alongs and doing all your work with records, dispatch, and all this other intern stuff that you're going to do is you need to test for 2 police departments. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, well, where am I going to do this? You ever heard of the blueline.com?
Good old blueline.com,
I'm like,
baby.
okay, let's take a look at this bad boy. And he's like, okay, these are all the departments. They're posting tests and stuff like that. And he's like, but what? He's like, you just don't want to take any test, though. He's like, when it comes to police work and just like coming to anything, if you're going to do something and you're going to do it well, what do you need to do? You got to get paid. He's like, look for these agencies that pay better. He's like, you don't want to go making like $12 an hour at some South suburban department. And like, there's, money isn't everything, but resources go a long way and really help out,
Absolutely.
Help you out. So, do that. And, that's what you should be looking for. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, let me look at this blue line thing. Let me look at police departments. Okay. Oh, there's a test coming up. Oh, who's this? Oak Park Police Department. Never heard of them. Oh, well, yeah, they're getting paid pretty decent. Okay. All right. They got a good contract. All right. You know what? I'm going to apply here. So put in my application. It's in put in my application, and the introductory and the written test is on a Saturday in February. All right, sounds good. Show up, me and 469 other applicants.
Oh, yeah.
And a handful of them I know from Western because they're all LEJA graduates and majors and stuff like that. And I'm seeing them like, oh, hey, good to see you. Good to see you testing here. Hey, Woodridge is coming up next week or this, that, and the other. Oh, I got these coming up. All right, cool. Like, have you taken one of these before? I'm like, no. Like, all right. So chief of police stands up there in front, and we're in the OPRF cafeteria, and he says, hey, this isn't just a normal suburban police department. We border, the west side of Chicago on 2 of our borders. We're a busy department, So you're going to get some activity here, and we're looking to hire 9 officers. I'm like, 9?
Let's go.
What?
Well,
I found out the backstory about why that was, but I'm like, 9 officers right away. I'm like, dude, hook them up. Let's go. Send it. So I did the written test, and like that couple days later, I get a call. Hey, you're in band 1. So again, with that many applicants, they have to band like the highest test scores into different groups. Nowadays I talk to police departments and like, well, how many people did you get to show up to the test? I don't know, like 25.
Yo, it's bad.
There is no banding.
No.
So back then you banded the results. Okay, so he's like, all right, you're in band 1, and what that means is next weekend, next Saturday, you're coming back to OPRF and you're going to do the power test. There wasn't like the NIPSTA card and stuff like that back then. You actually had to do the power test for your department and before you got into the academy. Cool, send it. All right, hit the power test, do that. Talk to a couple other guys like, oh, hey, how many tests have you done? Oh, I've been doing this for like 2 years and I still haven't. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Damn it. All right. Well, good thing I'm still in college. This is good experience, this, that, and the other. All right, cool. Pass the power test. They call me that next week. Okay, hey, we need you to come down to some office in the city where they're going to give you like some sort of like personality assessment test or something like that. And they'll kind of go over the results with you. I'm like, all right, sure, cool. All right, whatever. Went and did that. Then like another week and a half goes by. Hey, we need you to come in and do background. Okay. All right. Come do the background. Sat with a couple detectives who I would end up working with later on and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. All right. Here's my stuff. Here's all, the dumb shit that's on record that you know about. And, everything else, I'm just going to keep to myself.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just going to do that. And we're not going to worry about that one. But here's what's on paper. We're going to go from there. Okay. Sounds good. And then all of a sudden I'm at my internship, and they're like, oh yeah, can Tworek call dispatch? I'm like, why am I getting asked to call dispatch? Like, what is going on? Pick up the phone. It's a detective. He's like, hey, what are you doing there? I'm like, I'm doing my internship. He's like, oh, okay, cool. All right, well, you passed your background check. We need to set up a police and fire interview with you, and this is what's going on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Police and fire interview, go to it. I'm like, oh man, I hope I did well.
Right.
Dude, again, week later, oh, hey, we need you to come in, do the psychological. So you sit with the psychiatrist. Dude, he gave me the Rorschach test and everything like that. The whole kit and caboodle plus another 500 item questionnaire on
about the personality.
That you already had in this, that, and the other.
The psych portion,
It was wild. I'm like, okay. And a week later, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, okay, now you gotta go for your physical. Okay, do your physical. And again, as I say this, it's like, again, I started early February in the testing process, and they're like, oh, hey, by the way, you're getting sworn into the police department. Here's a conditional offer. But before your psych and your medical eval, they give you a conditional offer and everything like that. But now they give you, okay, you're getting sworn in April 8th, 2005. And I'm just a kid, just like, I'm still in college. I'm 21, just like 21 and a half. I'm going to be carrying a badge and a gun. Like, wow, the dream's coming true. Like, holy crap.
Right.
Wow.
Fast.
This is awesome. And this, like, 2 years, you guys are full of shit. Like, what are you talking about? I got this easy. So, you got sworn in. I continued doing my internship while I went to the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy at the College of DuPage out here, and did that. And there I was, like in the thick of it in the summer of 2005, going through FTO. And dude, it was wild. It was just, you hit those moments in your life where like, this is the dream.
Yeah, you're living it now.
This is what I came to do. And I learned fast in like FTO, like, again, the chief wasn't lying about Oak Park. I mean, again, we border the Austin district, 15, and we also border Grand Central, 25th district of the city that are not slow districts. I mean, these are some of the districts where, again, they're like the biggest open air drug market in the world. I mean, again, I could stand on Austin Boulevard and I'll throw a rock and I'll hit someone who's slinging rocks and blows. And it's just like, it's just everywhere. And it's not like they're like, oh, that's Oak Park, we stay away from there. It's like, no, we get a ton of property crime. We get some of the street robberies. We get all of that in Oak Park. 2 weeks in, again, it was my first burglary arrest that I ever got. Me and my FTO were driving, we're talking, we're like, hey, let's go, where are we eating today?
Right.
And here comes this guy coming out of an alley riding a bike, and he's carrying like a drill. We're like,
that's not normal.
That is what we call suspicious. So again, we put the stop on him and everything like that, get backup officers to go down the block and find an open garage, talk to the owner. We're like, hey, do you know so-and-so? And did you allow them to take your cordless drill and your power tools? Like, no. Oh, shit, here we go. What's funny is just like, again, in the academy, like, oh, you'll never catch an in-progress burglary offender. They'll be like, you might get like 1 or 2 if you're lucky in your career. And it's like, no, not by us. Like
no,
that
week 2, brother.
Like, that was like week 2, man. That like happens. Again, I had my, I assisted on CPR for a save for the first time in like week 1 of field training.
Yeah.
And that was like the first experience where it's like, oh crap. Like,
did you feel the ribs pop?
Oh yeah. Well, no. My FTO was on compressions. I was doing the bag and stuff like that with the AED and everything like that. So no, the multiple times I have given CPR, I crack ribs.
Oh,
This is what I do.
Yeah, we all do.
This is nothing I could do about it. But
it's a weird feeling though,
dude. Again, and it's like, and it's cemented in my head this concept that, again, I always talk to first responders about, especially police. And it's like, listen, every day you go to work, 3 things can happen. You may have to take a life. You may have to save a life. And you might have to lose your own.
Yep.
And that's every shift. That's every day. I don't care if you're in Oak Park, LA, Seattle, New York. It does not matter. Or the smallest county sheriff's department in Nebraska.
Right.
It does not matter. Those things are always in play. Every time you strap on your Sam Brown gun belt and you throw on your vest.
Absolutely.
Going to happen. So, yeah, man, I mean, Oak Park, it was just we're a busy town and busy department. But, I always wanted to do all like the tactical stuff, like 2 years on, became a defensive tactics instructor, edge weapons defense and stuff like that, did all the in-service trainings. Shortly thereafter, I applied to and got on our SWAT team. So went to the FBI SWAT school, did all that cool, high-speed, low-drag stuff. So that was really fun. I was a juvenile officer, again, CIT, again, the whole kit and caboodle.
The gambit, yeah.
The gambit. And, I served I served in every division of our police department. Again, I was on patrol. I worked in our community policing unit, and it was a short stint, but right after probation, right after I got out of field training, me and another PPO, another officer that just got off field training that I went to the academy with, they hand selected us to work our downtown districts during the holiday season. They're like, all right, guys, you're working, Tuesday through Saturday, like 2 to 10, like just when business hours, make sure you're out there showing a presence. You're like on a foot post.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're going to pick me and him
brand new officers.
To work together.
And for people who don't know, PPO is
probation
officer. Yeah,
probation police officer. So me and my buddy, you're gonna pick us to do this. Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's a great idea. What could go wrong?
I can't see anything. Again, so we had a great time on and off duty.
Oh yeah.
During that stint, and it was a great time, and so we ended up doing that. So I worked in CPU then. Partway through my career, I applied to. And I got selected to work on our TAC unit, who I was with. It was me and another person I went to the academy with. And so me and her were partners. And again, we worked on our attacking. It was called street crimes. So street crimes at our agency really focused on, again, high crime patterns. Where are the burglaries happening? When are they happening? Are we having street robbery problems? Again, responsible for responding in progress calls all the time. We were the headhunters for detectives and warrants and stuff like that. We also worked part-time with a task force in Western Cook County. It was called Wedge. It's a West Suburban Enhanced Drug and Gang Enforcement. Basically, it's all like the Western Cook County suburbs get together every 2 weeks, and we got together and we focused on, okay, where are you having problems? Where can we deploy resources? Okay, hey, you got a search warrant on a dope house. Let's go hit that. Hey, let's go work this. Hey, let's go work for this guy, and we would roll in mass. Just dump out boys stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was doing that, and then again, wound up back in patrol, and then I had the bright idea to become a field training officer.
I think it's a great idea, brother.
No. It's like the last thing I ever wanted to do. It's like, man, I'm going to love telling a kid how to say 10-4 on the radio. It's like the funnest thing in the world. This is where you say 10-4. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Got me.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. All right, gotta make sure. Okay. Oh, hey, make sure you put the car in park too before you get out.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Take your keys out of the ignition as well.
Please do that.
Put your gun in your holster.
Hey, I think you're missing something.
Yeah.
So honestly, that was like, but it really came to me because the department was going through so much change and turbulent times. And I said to myself, either you can continue to bitch and complain and be one of those guys, the salty vets who just sit around and just spit piss and all this nuts.
Oh, yeah.
You can either do that or you can do something about it.
Right.
And what's the best place to breed legacy in an agency? It's being an FTO, man.
100%, brother.
Being an FTO. And you get to do the job the right way. And if you know how to do the job the right way and impart that on these young minds and these people coming across, because that's your backup.
Yeah.
That's who's coming.
Right.
And again, and I always tell them, like, listen, you don't have to be like the number one kick-ass rock and roll cop. You don't need to do that.
Just do your job.
Just answer your calls.
Yes.
Go do your paper.
Yeah.
And if I'm calling for help, you're bringing it.
Yeah.
That's all I care for. That's all I ask. And if you're going to do this job, you have to do it better and cleaner than I ever did.
Yeah.
Because I used up all of my get out of jail free cards and most of yours.
Right.
Were, from my lips to everywhere. It's true. Again, because as a young 21-year-old copper going through my early, mid, and late 20s as a cop, yeah, a lot of dumb shit.
Oh, absolutely. We all have.
Again, and I always say, like, I was never taking money. I never beaten criminals. Again, it was none of that stuff. It was all on the outside. It was all my outside world about how I chose to live my life. And I lived my life like a knucklehead.
Yeah.
And I have no problem saying that and being accountable and owning that because it's just what happened.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah. So what am I going to do? Lie about it?
Right.
No, it's not for me. It's not how I want to hold myself accountable, because if I didn't own up to like the mistakes that I made, then what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I trying to teach this younger generation?
Exactly.
Yeah, I did dumb shit. Cool. And these were the consequences. This is how I got better, or how I didn't learn that time and had to make sure I did it a second time to really make sure that was not the right thing to do, and do it the right way.
Right.
So I did that, and then so I became an FTO, so here we are shaping the minds of the youth, and that's where a lot of my career was from. When was that? When I became an FTO? Again, I didn't become an FTO until I had like 13 years on the job.
Which, I mean, you've learned a lot. And too, it's like you say you didn't want to do the position, but at the same time, you're probably the best person for that position. Because, like, how many salty cops do you know who want to complain about all these new cops? They're all a bunch of this or a bunch of that. And it's like, well, what are you doing to help make them grow?
Sure.
Or are you trying to help, like, push their, like, if you're upset with how they handle, their calls, or, how they act on calls, like, what are you doing to help shape them into a better cop?
What are you doing about it? Exactly. Or are you going to just sit there and bitch and complain?
Just bitch and complain. And that's what a lot of cops want to do, is just bitch and complain.
everybody wants to change the world, but if you want to change the world, you got to start with yourself, sir.
Oh, 100%. Look into the mirror.
Yeah, and that's where it starts. So, 13 years on. So what was that? If I math good, so 2018 is when I kind of looking at that when I became an FTO, and then again we were starting to hire left and right. So I was training all the time, and then all of a sudden, 2020 hits. And that is again the civil unrest after George Floyd and COVID lockdowns and the pandemic and all that stuff. And again, Oak Park. It'd be funny. I'd come home from work and talk to my friends, and they're like, "Oh, well, how are you dealing with all the pandemic and everything that's going on in the world and like people sheltering?" And again, I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's not happening." I'm like, the streets are crazier now than they were before.
Way crazier.
It's absolutely insane.
Domestic's crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, again, and the violent street crime was kicked up. So again, prior to this, they had actually disbanded our street crimes team due to, again, not being able to staff our patrol shifts and all that stuff and our detectives and all that. So during that summer, they actually decided to create the mission team and stuff like that. And my deputy chief at the time, said, you ready to come out of retirement? And it's like, he's like, hey, you're getting assigned with a couple other people. They're younger, but we want you to be the person to you're my point of contact. Like you answer to me.
Right.
And, I trust in you. I have faith in you, and I want you to help these guys and girl move along and help this. Let's go do some work. And I'm like, Roger that, Chief. Let's go. So for the summer of 2020, it was just kick ass. It was like being the police on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just nonstop.
All gas, no brakes, baby.
All gas, no brakes. I mean, that year in 2020, the summer of 2020, we had more shootings in town than I had combined in my entire career.
Get out.
Again, there was no joke just going to intersections and hearing like people like, oh yeah, one car was chasing another car. They're just rattling off guns. And we're just like, there's shell casing
everywhere.
And it was like, oh, all right. Hey, whoever because we were we were just the jump out crew. We were the mission team. So it's like, oh man, all right, where's the paper car on this one?
Right. Where's the zone car? Yeah, exactly.
Who's got this? All right, you guys got this? All right, man, we're out of here. We're going 10-8. We got we're looking for this catalytic converter thief, or we got this guy who's slinging dope over here, and we're gonna kind of handle that. And again, that's when like the vehicular hijackings were really like kicking off. So we were paying a lot of attention to the spots in town where those were happening, probably like gas stations and stuff like that that were close to Austin. And close to the city where a lot of these were happening. So we were really focused on that, and just basically we would see these group of individuals come in and we're just like, nope. And again, IVC violations, whatever, just trying to throw stops on them, and it's just the chase is on. But again, we don't chase. It's not our thing. Again, puts too many,
lives at risk.
Yeah, too many lives at risk. So we terminate. But again, a lot of it was just, man, we're just chasing people out of town.
Yeah.
And doing it that way, and just trying to be a deterrent the best we could while we dealt with that, and again the shootings and everything. So that happens, and again 2020 ends, and it's just a really end of a weird year. I'm having some real struggles at home because of my own knuckleheadedness and letting myself be in that survival mode where all I'm thinking about is right in the moment on how to survive this second, instead of like thinking about, wow, what I say and do has these long-term consequences.
Yep.
And it was a really tough place. And 2021 rolls around, and then that goes on. I'm still training. I'm like, oh, I got a sergeant's test coming up. I'm like, man, I gotta get promoted or something like that.
Right.
All the different policy changes in Illinois are starting to come down the line, and I'm starting to question myself whether or not I even want to field train anymore, because of the liability it opens up. Because in the end, I'm not, they talk about like the COVID cops, the guys who came on in those years and went through field training that really didn't get the experience.
Right.
And I'm like, I am not going to let whatever else is going on in the world deter me from training this new officer on how to be the best police officer they can. It's not going to happen, because I'm not doing them any favors, and I'm not doing me any favors, and I'm not doing this community who's asking us to do these things any favors with them. I'm not going to do it. Real quick story. First night of the lockdown, again, where it was, 2 weeks to flatten the curve or whatever.
Yeah.
Night one, I'm field training phase 3. Phase 3 was my favorite phase to train.
Because for you that don't know, there's 3 phases, and then you have a shadow phase.
Yeah.
So shadow phase is the 4th phase.
So third phase was my favorite, and that's usually when you get police officers and their new officers where the amount of work is going to get ramped up from about like 60 and 70% all the way up to they're doing about 100% of the work. So that was always my favorite because I started like that's when I would try to like say, okay, now here's the critical thinking. Like, okay, where are we having problems in town? Where are you seeing this? Where are we doing this? Hey, do you remember that we have that wanted bulletin out for this guy?
Right.
Hey, do you remember that in this post we're getting some burglaries during the day between 11 and 1? Let's take a look at that. Let's extra patrols and stuff like that. Like I wanted them to start thinking like that.
Yeah.
And start thinking how to be a good cop. So
Proactive cop. Yeah.
yeah. So night one of this, I'm training at phase 3 PPO, and basically the word is don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Like let's keep this down. We don't want to expose ourselves to COVID or this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. We're not doing any of it. Just unless you have to.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sounds good. Roger that. So we're on North Avenue. We're on the north end of town, and this car just comes blasting down North Avenue, flying, just blowing red lights. And I just look at my recruit, and I'm just like, we got to go get him.
Yep.
Got to go get him. Flip it around. Throw the stop on him. He did, he's not wanting to stop. He ends up, he's DUI and just a stone cold jerk. Other descriptive terms I could use for him as well. But again, you dealt with like the stone cold drunks who are just like, they don't want to listen. They're not drunk. They're this. And he's just an asshole.
Yep.
And he's just acting like an asshole because he's drunk.
Yep.
And not wanting to get in the back of the car. So I hit him with the old clavicle notch right here. And
that's a good one.
Yep, and there you go.
My
recruit's like looking at me like, well, how'd you do that? I'm like, I'll show you later.
I'll show you young Padawan.
Yeah, I'll show you later, sir. Again, get him out of the back. He's spitting. So he spits on one of the backup officers.
Yeah, I know.
Getting out of the back again. COVID, right?
Yeah.
Right. We get him out of the car. Finally get him out of the back of the car in the Sally port. He spits on me, and I'm just like, okay, let's go. Because again, you can't let your emotions drive what you do.
100%. Yeah.
Again, because all of a sudden you start acting like a jerk back to them. Where again, most people like the instinct to someone spits on you, give them a crack and this and there. Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah.
We play by the rules because we do that. We're just as bad as they are. We're not going to their level. I'm not gonna commit crimes or do anything that's gonna stop my family from eating.
Right.
And me losing a pension and me losing the public trust. Like that's just not what I do. That's not how I operate.
Sometimes it takes everything inside of you, brother.
Oh my goodness. So he does that. And then again, he messed with him. He's drunk. We're doing all like the normal, warning the motorist and all that other nonsense. Right. It's just not cooperating. We're like, this is going to be a refusal, whatever. Let's just get him ready for, just to put him in lockup, and we're going to let him sober up, and then we'll process this out later. And so we get him in lockup, getting him uncuffed into one of our cells, and he just looks at me, and I'm standing there and just again. And this time he has a spit hood on because we put the spit hood on.
Yeah. It
just went right through, just right in my face and my eyes.
Oh.
My commander's just looking at me, and I'm just like, nope. No, I'm not. No, here we go. Unhook him. Dude, you deal with you. Sleep it off, man. Do whatever. And it's situations like that where I didn't want my recruits and police officers, you need to see that. You need that experience, because how are you going to deal with that or have someone model the right behavior for you if all of a sudden you can't do the job?
Right.
What kind of leader are you?
Exactly.
You're not going to do anything. So it brings me back to 2021 where it's like, listen, here we are. I'm exposing myself to liability because I'm being the police, and because I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I'm going to do so I can train these officers to be my backup and to be my best friend's backup, to be everyone else's backup,
right,
and to do the job the right way, because the people of Oak Park deserve it.
Yeah.
They pay us. They let us be the police. If they didn't want the police department there, they could go to a vote and say, guess what? Hey, we don't want the police department anymore. We'll outsource, Cook County Sheriff's Department, state police,
Right.
Again, top flight security, whatever.
Right.
We work for them, and they deserve this. They deserve the best policing they can get from us. And if I'm not going to give it, and I can't train these guys to be that because I'm going to open up myself to liability, I don't know if I really want to do this field training stuff anymore.
Right.
So I'm wrestling with that. Getting recruit after recruit, get this recruit, and he's what I call a shit magnet.
Mm-hmm.
The shit magnet, for those listening and watching, is the police officer or new recruit that just all the stuff comes their way, even when you're not looking for it. It's trouble seems to find
right in your lap.
And right at the end of the tours, right at the most inopportune times, going to lunch, going to do this, going to do that. They're the worst. So I have this kid for stage 1, and we get 3 weeks into stage 1, and I get a call that my godfather has died.
Oh man.
Yeah. He was someone I was really close with, and again, he taught me a lot about like financials, stocks, and stuff like that. He was a city plumber, but man, this guy knew the stock
Smart.
market. Just again, this is what he grew up. He'd watch the overseas market. I'd be working mids, and we'd just be talking. We go to breakfast at the Big Top for all those Chicago guys out there who know what the Big Top is.
Shout out Big Top.
You know what I'm talking about. It's not there anymore, but they know the spot. And we'd go there for breakfast in the morning after we got off shift. And he didn't have kids. He was my dad's best friend growing up, and they didn't have family. It was just him and his wife. But one of the things he always asked me to do, when we would talk at night, he's like, hey, if I go before my wife, you got to take care of her, because she doesn't understand the stock stuff. She doesn't understand how I have the trust lined out and how this works and what's what. And, I have all these, again, he's like, I have some guns and stuff like that. His uncle was a Chicago policeman. He's like, I got all his retired Chicago police stars, the service revolver that they gave him when he retired, like all this cool old school stuff. A lot of like the cool stuff you got hanging around this studio, man. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you, brother.
So, it's all this stuff. He's like, that's going to you and everything, but you need to take care of her. I'm like, all right. So, we get that call and that he passed, and me and my dad are on a flight out to, they lived out in Nevada at the time, So I had to call my FTO sergeant, and I was like, listen, you're going to need somebody else to cover week 1. I'm not asking. I'm kind of telling you that I'm not going to be at work for a week. It's like one of those things.
One of those
like
things, yeah.
It's the weird thing in police work where it's like, hey, I have to ask if I could be off work, and like most jobs. And but
They're pretty understanding about it. But yeah, agreed.
But it was like, no.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, and whatever it is, I'll deal with it when I come back.
Yeah.
But I got to go and I got to do this. So go out for a week and do that, bury them, do what we need to do, and get things started with doing all the trustee executor stuff, the will and all that. So that was a lot of work. So I end up coming home, flying back from Vegas, and my wife's taking our daughter to Florida where her sister lived for a few days. So it was just me and my son, who was young boy at the time, just only a couple months old, and do all that. And I'm having a lot of thoughts about where I want my life to be and what do I want to do, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, it really hit me in that moment where it's like, listen, this thing that I talk about where death is just, it's where we're all going. And it's what you do on this earth right here and right now. And like, what difference are you making? Am I being the best person I can be right now? Am I giving my kids and my wife and my family the best thing I can? I just don't know if I need to be at Oak Park Police Department anymore. Do I need to just like hold on until I get my 20 years, go to another agency again? Because lateraling started to come around again.
Yeah.
When I first started like lateraling, like, what are you going to lateral? No, you go to this police department, you stay there for 30 years, collect a pension.
Right.
End of story.
Right.
Wasn't happening. So I was like, maybe I lateral out. Maybe I go here. Maybe I get promoted. I don't know. What am I going to do?
Something has to change.
I knew something has to change. And I realized that there had been all these signs along the way, and I just wasn't listening to them.
Yeah.
I was ignoring them because I was more worried about myself than anybody else. I was selfish. Shit, I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm selfish as hell.
A lot of people are.
And I admit it. And it really impacted my family in a negative way. And I there's this thing between guilt and shame where it's like shame tells you that I'm a bad person. Guilt is just I did a bad thing. So when I say I'm not ashamed, I mean I don't feel that I was a bad person. I just did some shitty things.
Yeah.
And I know that, and how I behaved and how I acted, yeah, I own that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to let it take away from the fact that I get to be better every single day now going forward.
100%.
All this shit was going on. And so it's my first day back to work, April 8th, 2021. And if you remember correctly, I was hired April 8th, 2005. April 8th, 2021, first day back to work. It's also my wife's birthday. She's like, Ken, don't go to work. Take the day off. And I'm like, I just got done taking a week off.
Right. I can't.
I can't. I got to study for the sergeant's test that's coming up. I don't have a recruit. That week I was out. The recruit, he's in phase 2 right now, so he got passed on. So he's going to be with somebody else. I'm going to be able to sit in a parking lot, chill out,
read
a sweet effective supervision and policing textbook and go from
Get
there.
all jazzed up.
Oh man, I'm gonna be so empowering to all my police officers. It's gonna teach me how to do it.
Before we get to that, brother, like where were you mentally? So you just suffered a massive loss, right? You're kind of questioning if this is where you want to stay. Like where were you at mentally going to work that day?
Where I was is, again, I was asking more questions than I had answers for.
Yeah.
When I think of like when I think about my thoughts at the time and like kind of my emotional affect, it was more about like being just kind of numb.
Yeah. I know
and
that
just
feeling.
that they're like, there's not like happiness.
Yeah.
There's not like a whole lot of sadness either. It's just
nothing.
right in the middle. It's just like, dude, I'm just nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to work today. I'm gonna study this book, and then I'm gonna come home, and then I'm gonna rinse and repeat for 3 or 4 more days, or how much else I got this week, and I'm gonna figure it out. You know, again, new baby in the house. My daughter's young, and this is what we're gonna do. I'm like, okay, and it's her birthday. I know, it's fine. I'll figure that out. Whatever. So I get up, hit my snooze 2 times, so I know I'm late. But the great thing about cops, and I'm sure firemen too, is we know how to get fast really quick.
Real quick.
Like we're banged to bullets in like 14 minutes. And that's shower, brushing your teeth. Like that's everything.
It's shocking, actually.
It's like
super impressive.
And like you have it down to a science. Like I know exactly how long this is going to take me. So I knew that. So heading out the door, say goodbye to my wife. She's kind of awake. Walk past my son's room. And I know not to go in there because he doesn't like to be woken up, and he like, no, nobody wants that. So it's like, I love you. Like you just keep going.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Going to my, go see my daughter, give her a kiss before I head off to work. And, my mom was actually at our house too, because, my mom had flown out to Nevada to meet my dad, who was still out there in Vegas with my aunt and everything like that. So they actually had driven back from Nevada because we were inheriting, I guess you want to call it, one of their cars.
Gotcha.
Was coming to my parents. So they drove the car back from Nevada, and my dad dropped off my mom at our house because she had a baby shower that weekend for one of my cousins. So she was going to stay with us and then go to do that. So my parents live in the UP of Michigan,
okay,
Upper Peninsula.
The
so
Uber.
Yeah, hey there. So he dropped her off. So he had just left on Wednesday. So this is a Thursday. So he had left that Wednesday already to go back up north and drop my mom off. So my mom's, everyone's sleeping. I'm the only jerk going to work in the morning at that time of day, starting at 6 a.m. And so I'm walking out the house. I see one of my neighbors drive by, honks the horn, he waves. He's a copper too.
Okay.
And, I see him. Hey, good to see you. And then I'm like, wow, he works like 5, 6, 7 miles from here.
Yeah.
And I work about 20, 25 miles from here, and he's going to work now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Made it to work in time.
Of course.
Of course I do.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 1,000%. Get there, dude. I'm just not in the mood.
Yeah.
So like
One
when
of
you
those
talk about
days.
like management, I'm like, I just don't want to be here. Like,
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this. I'm now it's gone from just like blah to like, I'm just kind of pissy.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of one of those guys right now. And as I walk into our roll call room, I see my recruit that I had for phase 1. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Oh, well, they haven't switched my day off group to my phase 2 FTO yet. I'm like, of course not. Of course they hadn't. Why would they do such a thing
Yeah.
like that?
Why? Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Anyways. All right. So then all of a sudden I look at the lineup for the day and I see that I'm with
2-man car, baby.
that person. And commander walks in. He gives the briefing and everything like that. And so our watch commander, our commander of our platoon, he's my former team leader on our SWAT team. So our SWAT team ended up getting disbanded. Again, we couldn't keep up with the training and stuff like that to be like a real SWAT team. So they're like, all right, we're just going to disband and everything like that. But he was my TL. Again, combat vet, National Guard,
Good dude.
solid.
Yeah.
Solid man. Taught me a lot, gave me a lot of different pointers along the way, and just great guy. He's actually a chief of police right now for another very small suburban agency, but he's another real one.
Hell yeah.
He's another real one. He's great dude. Anyways, he pulls me aside after roll call and he's like, hey Ken. That's how we talk. Hey Ken, what's going on with you? I'm like, what am I doing? Am I training this kid? Well, as far as I'm aware, then yes, you are. Are you all right? Your hair. So like my hair was kind of like kicked up in the back, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta make sure I look good today.
Yeah, right.
Hold on,
Can't look fresh, baby.
Yeah, I gotta look fresh. I gotta look good. He's like, you all right? I'm like, just one of them days.
Yeah.
And all right, sounds good. I'm like, but am I training? He's like, well, yeah, as far as I know, you're training. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my overtime slip to get that signed because if you're training, you get OT.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, I kind of changed the plan for today. I guess I'm going to be training. So we had a shooting the night before, so all the marked patrol cars were all like out of service, and whatever sergeant did the lineup and the squad assignments for the following day, just like everything was just kind of a cluster.
Yeah.
So we don't have a car available. And like every mark, like they're like, oh, try driving this squad. Like, oh yeah, oh we can't do that one. It's a fleet. It got crashed on the 290 last week. Like, oh okay.
So whatever could go wrong was going wrong.
Right, and that. Oh hey, by the way, oh yeah, your car it's still up at that shooting scene. Oh, and I forgot to mention as I was running out the door before I saw my neighbor honking the horn at me. I always brew my coffee before I go to work. I guess I'm a little bougie when it comes to coffee. I like what I like.
Hey, listen, each is their own, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't brew.
Oh no.
I'm like, I set this mother last night. I'm like, what? I'm like, don't have my coffee. I got this going, and now I got to train today, and we don't have a car. And then they're like, all right, hey, just take the TAC car. It's just unmarked Crown Vic, no camera. I'm lucky if the computer works, the MDT unit works, and it's just like, hey, take this till your car comes available, and you guys will go. I'm like, all right. So, here's my recruit. Well, I guess we're taking the TAC car today. I'm like, I guess you're not driving today, buddy.
Yeah. Get in the passenger seat.
Again, and I say this, driving a marked police car with lights and sirens on and going to calls and stuff like that is hard enough to teach someone and do effectively without getting crashed into or crashing into anything. So having a newer officer drive an unmarked car with just some lights and a siren on, that's a whole new animal in and of itself. And I was just like, listen, I'm driving. Okay. So get everything going. We go down to the D&D on Roosevelt Road. That was my haunt. That was my spot. When I didn't have my coffee, and he's like he logged in. He's like, oh, I got these kickback reports from like last week. And I'm like, oh,
great.
Can you just fix them?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking. That's another thing Ken does. And I noticed in my own self-awareness is if I'm not jiving with something, I'm going to be real quiet.
Yeah.
So I'm just quiet. I seclude in, and that the talk I had with my commander earlier about he's like, hey, you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And this, hey, your hair doesn't look good. And I've told him this, so he knows it. So it's anything new. It was that moment where he reminded me of those three things that I talked about earlier. That I may have to save a life today, I may have to take a life today, or I may have to lose my own today.
Yeah.
So it's time to strap up. It's time to get in the game, and do what you need to do. So we're pulling out of the D&D. I'm driving. I'm doing my normal route around the beat and stuff like that, around like the commercial businesses, so I can see if any broken glass or anything out of the ordinary. Just my normal tour while I do whatever. And over here, dispatch in the neighboring town out of Forest Park that said, they're looking for, it comes out as a domestic trouble where the boyfriend took the girlfriend's car and he's on his, originally comes out domestic trouble, unknown problem. Send, Forest Park send units because their guys were not a roll call yet. And then finally one piped up and was heading to the call. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not too far over the border from us. All right, cool, whatever. We share the same radio band. Driving along. And then, call comes out, again, got the caller back on the line, let him know, boyfriend took the car and he's on his way to Melrose Park, which isn't too far from us, and he's going to hurt the mother. And I'm like, interesting. And then I kind of like looked at like my recruit and I kind of looked back at myself and I was like, dude, are you just going to be kind of a piece of shit police officer today?
Right.
And just avoid everything and not be the officer that this guy needs you to be, and show him how to do the job the right way. Are you just going to do that? No, I can't do it. It's not who I am. It's not fair to him, because no matter what's going on in my life and all the problems that I'm dealing with, it's not fair to him. And I'm like, all right, well, let's start flowing that way. Officer on scene, he's like, hey, I just saw the car. It's last seen northbound this address, and it's going eastbound on Harrison Street. So Harrison Street and Garfield Harrison, Forest Park, Garfield, Harrison, Forest Park, Garfield, Oak Park, same street.
Yeah.
Last seen eastbound. So I'm northbound on Harlem, and I'm at the intersection. It's a controlled by a stoplight. It's right at Harlem and Garfield, Harlem, Harrison, and right just to the north of there is the 290. So I'm like, all right, like, yeah, last seen, and I had just turned eastbound on Garfield when he was like, yeah, last seen eastbound on Harrison going towards the 290. And I'm like, no, he's coming our way. All right. So I'm right by a post office there. Post office truck comes out, and I'm like, I'm about to flip a U-turn. Again, he figured out that, oh, hey, these two guys in a dark blue Crown Victoria with a with a spotlight, they must be the police. I'm gonna let them do a U-turn in front of me.
Right.
So I do the U-turn in front of me and pull up to a red light at facing westbound on Garfield at Harlem, and lo and behold, I'm like, oh, there's that brown Chevy Malibu we're looking for.
Of course
he is. He's right there. My recruit, and I really haven't kind of communicated what's going on or my thought process to him at the time.
He thinks you just drive around.
I never asked.
Yeah. He probably just
like,
thinks you drive around.
I'm not saying this happened, so please don't give this guy, if people know who he is, any shit over that. I don't know that this is what he's thinking, but in my mind, this is, he's like, whoa, we're going for a nice ride today.
100%.
I don't think that's what was going through his head. I don't know for sure. This is just me making stuff up in my head to make myself, laugh. And so we're at the light, so the light cycles, and I'm like, I reach out to the Forest Park officer, who I've known for like a vast majority of my career, working along Harlem Avenue, kind of knowing the Forest Park officers. And I'm like, hey, Tommy, is this guy still wanted? Like, what's he wanted for? Because that's the big thing. Like, again, why are you stopping the car?
Right,
or why are you getting into that? And I'm like, just building up PC, reasonable suspicion, the whole show. It's like, yeah, it's auto taking without consent right now, yada, yada, yada. So basically, he stole the car from his girlfriend without consent. Okay, the criminal trespass motor vehicle, PSMV, whatever. All right, I got enough to detain him. Pull behind him, flip on the lights, and let dispatch know that I'm knocking the car down. So the car kind of brakes a little bit and kind of does a slow roll to the curb. At first, I'm like, is this guy just going to take off? Because if he takes off, I can just like wipe my hands of this and be like, I tried stopping him.
Yeah,
We don't
right.
chase. This has put too many lives at risk.
10-8. Let's
10
go.
8. 10 8. Oh, hey, by the way, Forest Park, those cars last seen northbound or eastbound or westbound on the 290. That's where I saw him last. End of story. So I'm like, is this guy going to take off? I'm like, no, he's not. Okay. So he slow rolls. That's a red flag. So he curbs it. I curb it. I'm like, okay. So, the way I teach my recruits and the way I always comported myself is as soon as my squad car is in park, my door is open and I'm out the door because speed and violence of action. I'm not going to give anyone in a car that I'm stopping the chance to plan to do anything to try to take me out. Because, again, another lesson of my PPOs was always, when you're stopping a car, stopping a person, do they want to kill you?
Right.
The answer is always maybe.
Yeah.
And you have to act accordingly until either one plays out, So, again, throw the stop, throw the car in park. As soon as the car in park, I see his door just fly open. Just wham. I'm like,
another massive red flag.
Red flag number 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Something's up here. And as I'm doing that, I'm stepping out of my squad and I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, is this guy going to fight me? Like,
Yeah.
are we going to go to blows here? Or is this guy just going to take off and run? I'm like, he could have just drove away.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay with that.
Right.
Well, not okay with it, but you know what I'm saying. And I'm like, no. And then he again, I'm getting out of the car. I'm standing up and he jumps out and just throws his hands up in the air. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So, again, context of the time, early 2021, less than a year removed from George Floyd, a person of color throwing their hands in the air after I have stopped them is not an unheard of thing.
Right.
Let's just say it that way. I mean, again, there's some guys that have stopped, that have been stopped plenty of times that their hands, you pull the car over, their hands are out the window,
yeah.
or the keys are on top or whatever, and hands are just up, and that's what they've learned in their life to do. And okay, fine, whatever.
Right.
So this guy hopping on the car and throwing his hands up, I'm like,
it's not too alarming, right?
I mean, it's weird,
Yes,
but it's
right,
not.
Right.
But again, it's just really weird. I'm like, okay, shit. Okay, well, this guy's weird. What the hell is going on here? This is just domestic, Not to say that there's a routine traffic stop, but it's like one of those things. Like I'm always keyed up. I'm always ready to go. But it's just like, all right, what's going on here? So I see him, hands are up. So I look down and I gaze down to see where my PPO is at, because I always got to make sure what he's doing, if he's getting out of the car or, again, let's go.
Yeah.
Come on, we got to go.
Right.
And as I'm doing that, I'm also reaching for my mask because, again, we're in the pandemic, and in order to have contact with the public, you
Mask
have
on.
Mask on. So I kept it hanging on my vest. And so I'm looking there to grab my vest and looking down to see where he's at. All of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, because I'm still watching him, up comes the pistol from the waistband.
Oh, fuck.
And just shots. Just, again, it was just instant. It was fast. And the thing that I remember the most is seeing the gas emitted from the muzzle of the pistol and just the shock of it all. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, oh shit, he's shooting at me.
Yeah.
And again, the gas and the taste and kind of smell of that. And then all of a sudden, I just feel a straight punch to my left arm. And I'm like, fuck, I've been hit. And I just knew it. It's just like, yeah, that's what a fucking gunshot feels like. Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Straight punch to the left arm. It again, it just felt like a really bad Charlie horse where you just get whacked on that or right in the elbow.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Like a dead leg, yeah.
Yeah, it was just bang. I'm like, fuck. I'm hit. So, and he's still shooting, and I'm like, shit. So I drop down behind my driver's door, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay, Ken, it's time to fucking get in the game. Time in. Let's go. Unholster my weapon. I check my flank because I'm afraid that he's going to come and try to outflank me and try to finish me off. And I look next to me and I see the nice mail truck that let me pull a U-turn in front of him. I'm like, oh, how nice. I see that, and then I'm like, shit. I'm like, I still hear gunshots. He's still where I saw him last. All right, time to go to work, time to engage. So I swing out from behind my door, and I just feel like my left arm, like I can't feel in it. And it's just like dead weight. So I'm swinging out and the movie stops. I can't give you a play-by-play of what happened in that brief moment of time. My brain completely just has wiped out that memory. All I have in my brain is a picture of him going to the ground. I knew that I had every intention, that I was swinging out and I was throwing rounds down. Like that's what was about, that was happening. And all I have is that picture. Next thing, movie starts again, and I'm on all fours, and I just feel the blood pumping from my left arm. Just every pulse, just, and I just feel it. I just look at my hand and then my arm. It's just blood all over my hand. And I'm there. I got my gun in. I still have my gun in my right hand. I'm right-handed, so it's like shit. I'm like, I'm hit, and I'm hit fucking bad. I'm like, this is arterial because of the way it's pumping out and the way it's going with my pulse. I'm like, I remember him falling. I got to make sure that he's done. So I look up, and as I look up, he is getting up with the pistol still in his hand. And then the only thing that goes through my mind is, oh no, you don't. Not today. So I level off with my right hand and just lay rounds until I hear him scream and I see him throw the pistol forward. And I'm like, good. Okay, shit. He's down. All right. Now I need to take care of this.
Right.
So down. I'm like, shit. All right. Throw the gun back in the holster. My left hand and arm are kind of out of commission. I keep a tourniquet rubber banded to the front of my Molly vest. And the reason I always did that was because I knew in critical incidents when your survival instinct, your fight, flight, or freeze is going off, that your fine motor skills go out the fucking window.
Out the window.
Very true statement. Goes out the window. So I knew that if I just kept it rubber band, I could just grab and just rip. And,
right.
I would have it if I would need it, or if my partner would need it, or another civilian needed it, or something like that. So I go to grab, like, I didn't grab my tourniquet. Oh, that's my flashlight. Right there, my flashlight on my left side, like extreme light. And I'm like, I don't need this.
Right.
I throw it down on the ground and throw that on the ground. And I'm like, all right, I need my tourniquet. Grab it. So I ripped off my tourniquet, stand up. I'm like, okay, I need to get the cavalry coming. So I'll call it out, the shots fired. Then I'm hit, but the offender's down. And that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Let's call it out, run back to the back of the squad. Finally get a chance to talk to my recruit, who is, again, very alert and very aware of what's going on at the moment. And I'm just like, listen, I'm like, I need to put my tourniquet on, but you need to put a gun on him. I'm like, keep a gun on him. He is still a threat. Keep a gun on him. Here, I'll grab you no, get a gun on him. I'm just like, dude, just get a gun on him. I will handle all this. Get a gun on him. By that time, Forest Park had heard me pulling the car down and was coming back and was going to back me. So they pull up right then and there after I called it out. Backup comes Tom. He's just like, hey, where's he at? What's going on? I'm like, he's down. He's in front of the car. Guns down in front of him. I need to get my tourniquet on. At that point, like, I was trying to put it on and I had dropped it. Again, tourniquets, all my first responders, vets, cops out there, work your tourniquet, one hand, left, right, non-dominant, dominant, work it both, practice it, get that in your brain now. Again, I've tried to do it in the past, but again, shit happens. Dropped it into a huge pool of my own blood. And Tommy's like, oh no, I got it for you. He picked it up. He's like, oh shit. So him and me start putting it on. Another Forest Park sergeant comes up, Adam. By the way, I just want to say this first and foremost. Adam, Tom, you guys are fucking rock stars. Some of the most baddest dudes I know in this world, and I couldn't be here without you guys. I love your brothers. You know that, but every chance I get a chance to say it, I'm going to say it. Love you guys.
Love it, dude.
And so they get the tourniquet cinched up on me. Again, going through the training, going through the stuff that I have been with, again, my TL, our SWAT team, going to, the ITOAs and all that stuff and working stop the bleeding tourniquets. Like, I know that this tourniquet needs to be so tight on me that I lose feeling. It's got to hurt. It's got to hurt. So I'm just telling Adam, I'm like, dude, turn it, crank it, crank it, crank it. I'm like, and then I start to feel like that hurt and that pain and like my arm going on. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's it. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And if you ever put on a tourniquet, you want to be, the person has to be begging for you to stop and to take it off.
No,
like,
I wanted it to hurt. I'm like, because I knew how bad it was. Yep. And I'm just like, dude, get it. So we got it finally cranked on all the way. And Tom's like, hey, let's go to Loyola. I'm like, yeah, like we need to go to Loyola like now. Like we need to hop in. So by that time, the rest of the cavalry was coming up and dealing with Dum Dum on who's laid out on the street. And again, first other Oak Park officer arrives up. He pulls up, another good friend of mine, and I'm like, dude, don't worry about me. I'm like, just get that fucking guy in custody. I'm like, that is your concern right now. Go get him.
Yeah.
We'll handle all this, dude. Hop in the back of Adam's squad, and we are just balls to the wall down Harlem to Roosevelt, going up to Loyola and stuff like that. And by that time, when I gotten in the car, I didn't realize that I had also been shot in the leg. So shit. So ultimately, I think bad guy let off around like 14. I think it was like 14 rounds. He fired
dumped it.
Yeah. So he was it was a Glock pistol, but it was a Glock. So I'm gonna get a little gun techie here. So he carries a Glock. He got a Glock 22 pistol. But the thing about the Glock 22 and the Glock 27 are both full size handguns. So the Glock 22 is in 40 S&W, while the 17 is in 9mm. So what this guy did on the street is they take a 17 barrel and a 17 magazine and they put it in a 22 frame,
right?
And slides, because the police aren't going to figure that out because this is a 40 caliber gun and we found 9mm. That can't be it,
right?
Yeah, you guys aren't that smart. Like we got that. We figured that one out. So that's what he did. He had a Glock 22 that was modified into a 17. And again, so, what are we talking? 17 round magazine, I think I know. 17 round mag. So he dumped out 14 and I took one through the left bicep that ultimately severed my brachial artery. That was the arterial bleed. And it also did damage to my median nerve, which the median nerve in the hand, it controls like your thumb, your index, your middle, and the top of your ring finger. That is the median nerve. That's what controls like your feeling, your fine motor function, like all the stuff to get going. And that was damaged in that. I took a second round through my left calf. It was a straight through and through, just through the meat. And again, it's funny, to this day, I still have fibers embedded in my leg. Like there's like, you see like little blue in my leg. I'll show you the scar off.
Really?
Offline. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So about once a year randomly, it'll be really itchy and I'll start picking polyester from my pants out of my skin. One of the other rounds grazed my leg. There was another round that went off my radio battery, which I didn't even know about till later on once I got like the evidence report and kind of saw everything where the damage was from the gunfight. And I saw it there, and I'm like, oh, I got shot there. And then I also ended up catching shrapnel in my right tricep from the squad car.
Really?
Yeah. Again, I'll get into that part later. But again, as I'm getting into the squad car to go to Loyola, I look at my pants, and there's blood, and there's a hole. And I'm like, oh, I'll be damned. I got shot in the leg too. That sucks.
The adrenaline was pumping, brother.
Because I remember all this now. Again, I was lucid through the entire event except for that one snapshot that I have. And again, from the time I called the stop down to the time I called shots fired, 14 seconds.
That's how fast it is.
14 seconds. And again, that's 14 rounds from him and 8 from me. That's how, again, so all that whole story that took Lord only knows how long to tell, that's 14 seconds.
So fast.
It's ridiculous.
It's a blink of an eye, yeah.
So again, we get back to we're flying down Harlem to Roosevelt. I remember passing the Portillos and Adams. He's going there. He's getting me. They're like, hey, call Loyola. We got an injured officer coming in with gunshot wounds, this, that, and the other. And the only thing I'm saying to Adam is like, dude, just get me there.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Like, I'm good, man. Like, I'm good. Get me there. So we get to the hospital and got the back car, rolled the window down because, you're back for squad car, so you have to
Open it
do
up, yep,
that way.
yep.
I get out, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, what are you guys all
Freaking
what are
out
all
for
these?
it.
Yeah, what are you guys crazy? This is nuts.
Yeah.
So
Not for me.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So I get on the stretcher. They put me back there, and again, they're like, "Oh, where you shot? This, that, and the other, and blah blah blah." The tourniquet's on. I take off my vest, take off my gun belt, and stuff like that. Make sure we give it over to the other officers that are starting to show up and stuff like that. Because again, I'm even in my mind, I'm like, "Oh yeah, like this is evidence. This is a shooting. We got to make sure that all this is covered and use the force and so on and so forth, and give it to the officers for evidence and this, that, and the other, and then they start cutting my clothes off, and then I'm just lying there naked in front of all my coworkers and doctors and nurses, and it's like, hey,
it's a party.
Wow, this is a first for me. Okay, and then they start checking me for other holes, and they check every crevice that there is on a human being.
Oh yeah,
in front of my coworkers and this and everybody else and the rest of the world. And
I hope you're enjoying the show.
I'm like, it's cold in here, everybody. Like, hold on, come on. So I'm just lying there naked with a tourniquet on, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm totally fine. Tom's there with me. Just leans over, gives me a kiss on the forehead. Says, I love you, buddy. Gives me a kiss. I'm like, that's the first time I've ever been naked and kissed by a man before. I'm like, I love you too, man. That's awesome. I'm in. Then our sergeant walks in, and I'm talking to the doctors and this, that, and the other, and she comes in, just kind of puts her hand on me. She's like, hey, Ken. I'm like, oh, hey, Sam. What are you doing here? I'm here for you. I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm good. Like, what's up with you?
Yeah. How's your day going?
like what's going on? And it finally dawns on me. I'm like, someone needs to call my wife.
Yep.
I'm like, someone needs to do that. And again, there's normal policies and shit like that and stuff, but Sam made the decision at the time, and she's like, who do you want to call your wife? And I'm like, oh, my buddy. It was that first Oak Park guy that showed up on scene. Because I thought through my head, I'm like, okay, who's working today? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And I'm like, yeah, dude, this guy called. So he calls out, and my wife, and her story is
happy birthday.
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. So anyways, they go back to CT scan, bring back loose the whole time. I'm fine. They bring Dum Dum into the ER too, because he has gunshot holes in him too, and so basically they're trying to keep us separated in the ER and everything like that. I really don't give a shit. Right. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm here, and then the doctor's like, oh hey man, you severed your brachial artery, you got all this going on. You bought yourself a surgery, and I'm like, oh man, oh cool. All that sounds bad. Yeah. What are we waiting for? Well, we got to wait for the OR to get ready. So I'm just laying there, and it's like, oh, well, if I have all these mortal wounds, why aren't we doing anything about it?
Right.
Well, we need you to sign some forms. I'm like, wait, what? We need you to sign treatment. Yeah. I'm like, here. I'm scribble. Yeah, there's my signature, so you can operate and treat me, and that's okay. This is ridiculous.
We can worry about that shit fucking later.
Yeah, I don't. Can you please just take care of this for me? So yeah, they finally wheel me back into surgery, and the whole time I wasn't I felt fine. I'm fine. I'm good. There's nothing, because I kept telling myself, and it's something that I was kind of taught myself, that you were ever in these scenarios. Again, I was real big on training officers and that combat mindset, and it's the one thing, I don't know where I got it from, but it's what's in my mind is don't go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling, brother.
If you go to sleep, you will die.
Yep.
Stay awake. Stay in the fight. No matter what, you never give up.
Yep.
And that's what I kept telling myself. I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking falling asleep. I'm like, I'm awake. I'm in it. I'm awake. I'm a fighter. I'm in. I'm not quitting. Fuck this guy. He's not doing this to me. So, but now I'm getting wheeled into the OR, and it's like, oh no, you're going to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that it hit me. And I was like, oh, shit. They're going to put me to sleep. I don't know what's gonna happen after that.
Am I gonna wake up?
Yeah. Like I gotta stay. I gotta stay awake. I gotta stay. That's how I stay alive. Is staying awake, staying in the fight.
Yep.
And now it's time to. So
That's pretty tough.
it was, but the only thing that I could do was, man, Hail Mary and an Our Father, and I just left it to the Lord, and I'm just like, all right, here's the mass. Count back from 10, just like they do on TV, which I thought was really cool because I was like, wait, do they actually do that?
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Radioland, yes, they do. And I'm like, all right, 10, 9, 8.
Yeah, out.
Wake up. See one of my buddies, detective, again, another combat vet, hanging out, and I'm like,
When did you get here?
yeah, like, what are you doing? Again, it's like my fucking question that is like, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, buddy, because that's how he talks. And I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? Oh, I'm just here for you, buddy. Walk into recovery, and I'm just sitting there, fucking just groggy and whatever. And then finally they bring my wife in.
Oh, here we go.
And the first words out of my mouth are, happy birthday.
Oh, dude.
Man.
How was the look on her face?
She was crying, man. She was
Yeah.
so upset. I could see it in her, and it was just ridiculous. And I knew it. And all this shit that's going on and blah, blah, blah. And she's telling me, I'm like, hey, what's this? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, who's watching the kids? She's like,
Right.
oh, my best friend, she's coming over. I'm like, what about my mom? Is she okay? She's like, yeah, she's fine. She's at the house. She's like, and then she's like, your dad's on his way back. Again, like I said before, he just drove up 6 hours from the other day, and he turned around and he's coming back. He's yelling. He's worried about what the media is going to look like and all this shit. Because again, he's a retired copper. He knows what's up. He gets it.
2020 was right around the corner.
Exactly.
Just passed.
So he's on his way rushing back. He's coming back down and stuff like that. And she's there. Kids are taken care of. And I'm like, okay, all right, all this taken care of. I'm like, hey, I got to tell you something, though. Is someone going to be at the house? She's like, yeah, dummy. Someone's going to be at the house. I'm like, all right, I got flowers delivered there for you.
We got to make sure the flowers are taken
like,
care of, brother.
I got you flowers for your birthday. Which is a big thing for me because I never, ever gave flowers. I'm like, dude,
of course.
Die.
That day you get flowers, you're fucking shot. Yeah.
Guess who has never given flowers ever again in their entire life? This guy. Never happening. And so I gave flowers. She's like, oh, don't worry. Someone's at the house and blah, blah, blah. She's like, everyone's been like supported this, that, and the other. I'm like, all right. Okay. Hey, Kim, when do you think, when are they going to let me out of here? Like, when
Right. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, like, when can I leave? I got some guy next door. He's just screaming and crying. Like, that was, like, the thing that aggravated me the most. I'm sure this kid, like, and when I say kid, it sounded like he was, like, a late teenager.
No.
Just in a bad car accident, a lot of pain. And he's just crying for his mom and stuff like that. And, dude, like, I know that he was probably scared and going through a lot of pain at the time. But at the time, this kid was the most annoying thing that was going on in my world right in that moment. I know that may sound bad and not empathetic, but man, this kid wouldn't shut up.
You were probably in pain yourself, right?
Exactly.
So you're like at your wit's end at that point. I feel you, brother.
It's like, dude, I know this kid is going through, but can they get him to a room or something like that? So anyways, they finally get me up to ICU, and they're going to keep me there for a little bit. And I didn't fall. And again, here I am. I wasn't asleep again for another like day and a half. I refused to go to sleep because if you go to sleep, you die. And did a lot of battling with Loyal at the time. Again, COVID context, so they weren't allowing people in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, no, if my fucking guys and my officers want to come, no, let them in. Yeah. Like, how are you going to tell them that they can't? Well, we have to protect everybody and this, that, and the other. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, this is the most ridiculous thing. Well, we made a special exception for your family to be allowed to be here. So they would only allow so originally it was my wife that was there, but me and her decided that I'm like, hey, this is not the end of it. And the kids need mom. They need mom at the house.
Right.
And we're like, you know what? Mom needs to be at the house. So my dad had just got back. So the next day, like I sent my wife home that night, and then I just had the police guard there, my officers and stuff like that. And then I had then my dad was there the next day. So Loyola's big thing was like, well, we let you have your family here. Normally we don't do that.
Yeah.
Plus a police officer was guarding me. And that was well, we made that exception. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, kick rocks.
Yeah, but again, as all cops do and who we are, everyone finds a way.
Right.
Even like it got back to the department, like, and they like called one of our DCs and we're like, dude, you got to tell people to stop coming here. Like, cause they were like kicking people out. And then I was fired up and I was having some words with security and admin there. Doctors and nursing staffs, Loyola,
phenomenal.
Oh my goodness.
Phenomenal.
They are top notch quality individuals. Admin, my experience, my opinion only, I reserve the right. Oh, they fucking suck.
Oh, I share that sentiment with you, brother.
Like, I couldn't believe how, like, there was not a humanistic approach.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything. It was just like, no, go kick rocks.
Yeah.
So, again, I was yelling and screaming, whatever. Anyways, finally this, that, and the other. Guys kept coming to see me on the side and stuff like that. They finally got me out of ICU and into another unit for a night. And then security showed up again. I had the sergeant of Loyola security with like the admin again.
What an honor.
Like basically just saying, you need to stop this. And I'm like, I can't control what these people do.
Right.
But I had made enough stink at that point that I'm like, listen, I'm fine. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, because if you guys aren't going to meet my needs, I'm like, just transfer me to Northwestern.
Yeah.
I'm like, I live out in DuPage. CDH is right there. Northwestern CDH is right there. I'm like, I'll just go there. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I have insurance. I have all those, like, just send me there. Like,
yeah.
I don't need to be here. I don't need to be with you because if this is the healing environment that you're going to provide me,
right,
I am choosing not to have that.
Right.
Someone just tried to murder me, and I did not like that.
Right. Right. 100%.
So, whatever. They finally I think they kicked me out of the hospital. Finally, went home, and then, man, then the real journey began.
Oh, brother! Before we get to that,
yeah, dude, I know we've been talking.
We're gonna take a quick break. Let's pick up back where we left off, brother. So you just got home from the hospital, and that's kind of like when the real shit starts to happen.
Oh, for sure it does. You know, again, when you're in the hospital, it's all like the fun and games of it all. And
everyone's coming to see you, yeah.
Right, it's not real. And then all of a sudden, I walk through the door, and the first person I see as I walk through the door is my mom. And the look in her face is just, as we were kind of talking off air, I have a sister. Her name's Kelly, and she was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer when she was 2 years old. I mean, my mom was like pregnant with me at this time where she's going through this, and she needed, again, brain surgery at a very young age, and grew up physically and cognitively, disabled her entire life. She ended up passing away when I was a very young kid. I was in junior high at the time.
Oh man.
So, seeing the look in her face and being a father myself at the time, and there's no way I could ever truly understand what it's like to lose a child as a parent. And the heartbreak and what my mom and dad were able to do and battle through that growing up and losing a child. And now all of a sudden you have your other child who their only dream has ever to been a police officer, and he almost lost his life doing that. So, she was in a certain sort of way, obviously.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
It's just that look.
It's that look you'll never forget.
1,000%, man. And so I did that. And, the first couple weeks were just chaos a little bit. Again, you're running around going to doctor's appointments. I had to go back to the PD to give my my statement to Illinois State Police, their public integrity unit. Basically, it's their shoot team. It's it's part of the state's attorney's office in whatever county you're at, where they look at the objective viable facts of the shooting, when it occurred, how it happened, and if, the use of lethal force and deadly force was appropriate in that situation, or if someone stepped over the line, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So I had to do that interview and everything like that. And again, the offender in my case, he's still alive. He survived. So it was meant to be. No one died that day, which I really don't have a problem with.
Right.
Totally fine with that. So we have a criminal case with, an offender in custody. So again, the detectives are hard at work doing that thing, and I have to give my interview to the shoot team and go over that, and along with meeting with my my union attorney and stuff like that to make sure that my rights are protected as applicable and allowable. At the same time, I know I'm going to have this huge healing process along the way, so I make sure that I had an attorney that I used previously for workman's comp cases and stuff like that, and I reached back out to him because, again, when you work in this field and you see how politics and policy kind of plays roles and stuff like that, and how human resources really isn't looking out to be a resource to the employee. They're more looking at the employer. Like, that's who it's about. You got to protect yourself. So in our world, you got to lawyer up. You got to get people on your team, because I was not in the right frame of mind for really anything.
Not even close.
No, zero. Yeah. I was in excruciating pain. I didn't have feeling in my left hand. I didn't have feeling in my lower portion of my forearm at the time. It was the weirdest experience in the world, where it's like I would just put my hand in like a glass of water or in the shower or whatever and couldn't feel
nothing.
Shit. Yep. And it eventually, that kind of evolved into I got the feeling back in like in my forearm and stuff like that, but the feeling in my hand turned into just like a nerve burn.
Oh, and it's the worst burn ever.
And it is constant to this day. It is constant. They're like, what does it feel like? I'm like, well, you ever wake up in the middle of the night, your arm's asleep, and then it starts to wake up, the blood starts to form back, and you have the pins and needles and that burn that goes through your hands and your arms or your legs or whatever. I'm like, that's my left hand all the time.
Yep.
I am in a constant state of annoyance with it. And it just is what is. But at the time, after the incident, it was just, I described it as like bolts of lightning would just all of a sudden just blast into my hand, and I would like jump out of my seat and just expletives and this, that, and the other. And it just, oh, dude, the pain. Or like it would feel like it was just, my hand was caught in a vice on a workbench, and they just kept cranking it.
Yep.
Cranking it. It was horrendous. I had finally, after about a week and a half or so, or maybe 2 weeks, I don't remember the exact timeline, of sitting downstairs in kind of our living room watching old Westerns, because that's my jam. I just, like, I would be screaming in pain, and I ended up putting a hole in our laundry room door because I was in so much pain. I don't know, just hit something. It seems like the right thing to fucking do.
Right.
Yeah, sure. It makes complete sense. So I just punched a hole in our door. And it was in that moment, and as I reflect back on it, it wasn't just me that was shot and had all this shit going on at the same time, but it was the family. Because my wife was upstairs just crying her eyes out. And she's on the phone with doctors at Loyola again, and basically getting the response of like, yeah, we'll see him, but he's got to wean off the pain meds himself. He's just gonna have to figure that out. And it's like, no, you don't understand. You're not hearing. You're listening to what I'm saying, but you're not hearing me out. You're not getting the full weight of this. And it's like, yeah, whatever. So my wife, being the staunch advocate she was, the entire time, reached out to my PCP, who I just happened to have like 2 months prior a physical with, told him the story and was like, hey, this and blah, 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 blah. He's like, and he's out of Northwestern. He's like, I got you. Sent over a script for pain meds to a local pharmacy, and I got him an appointment with our pain management here at CDH in Northwestern. Mm-hmm. He'll come see them, and we'll take care of him. If Loyola isn't doing what he needs,
right,
we got him. And I'm like,
thank God.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Right on. Like, that was, again, it saved me, because just the pain is just ridiculous. And you know, this part of the thing is like when I was in the hospital, I was refusing pain meds, like outside of like ibuprofen. I didn't want any of it.
Right.
Again, I worked dope. I worked gangs. I worked all that stuff.
You know what it can do.
Oh, 1,000%. You know, 290, the heroin highway.
Yeah.
Again, every western suburb comes through Oak Park to get into the west side of Chicago. Go buy dope. Like that. I'm not telling anything that isn't known throughout the Chicagoland area. That's what's there. And I saw it all the time. I mean, I couldn't count how many PCS arrests I had in my career or all of that. And I saw what it did to families and even generations of families.
Right.
Dude, one night I remember me and my partner, it was like a family. It was like mom, dad, daughter, boyfriend, and like another generation. A kid was in the car, and they were just, you know, in the Mickey Dougals, in the McDonald's shooting dope. Like, I didn't want that. I'm like,
100%.
no. I'm like,
it's a dark road.
I'm like, that's scary. Don't want nothing to do with it. I'm fine. I'll grit it. I'm tough. I'll take the pain. I'll take the pain.
There's one thing about nerve pain. You'll find out it will test your mental strength.
Oh, yes. And it was in that moment when that hole went in the door and I was like, dude, Ken, what are you doing to yourself? What are you doing to the family? You're a raging lunatic, a raging asshole. Your body can't heal if all it's doing is worrying about the pain and fighting that off. It can't heal. So, again, I finally succumbed and just said this, that, and the other. You know, I always was upfront and honest with my doctors just about, you know, the opioids that I was using and stuff like that. And I told them, like, what I was worried about. They're like, listen, Ken, are you getting high and you're feeling, like, great and wonderful because you're taking this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, no. It's like, does it just help you, like, the pain and stuff like that, but you're not getting loopy or crazy or anything like that, and you're doing this for fun? I'm like, no. He's like, good. You're using it the right way.
Yeah.
You know, they call it, I can't think of the name right now, or the therapeutic or the safety threshold.
Right.
It's that therapeutic threshold that the doctors and prescribers try to find where, again, the patient is going to get the benefits of the drug that they're using to help them, but without exceeding that to either overdose or to become more recreational and so on and so forth. So he's like, you're right there. We got you. You're good. The way you're acting and talking about it right now, we're not worried about it. We know the warning signs, but you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that was like, as soon as I got on him, it was like, how do I get off him?
Yeah. Right. I was the same way.
I don't want to. I didn't want to be like that because it's scary. Like you see what it does.
Oh, absolutely. And then we've talked on the phone prior to this, but like gabapentin, like I hated gabapentin. It made me a freaking zombie. So as soon as I could get off of it,
me started.
Yeah, man.
Gabapentin was again we were kind of talking about during the break and stuff like that. Again, one of my guilty pleasures is I love watching Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
I love trivia. I love just kind of knowing a lot about different things. Like anything that can help me just keep me sharp and just kind of like inform me about something that maybe I didn't know about before that could help out. I love it. So I would be watching it and I'd be sitting there and I'm like, I know the answer to this question, but I can't find the words. I'm like, I know the answer. And it's like the most infuriating thing that you could ever happen where it's like, I know this. Why can't I say it?
Yeah.
Gabapentin.
Yep.
Ugh. Glad I'm off it.
Oh, it helps in the time, but it definitely messes with your cognitive ability. It's not good, brother. It's not good.
You feel stupid. You're just like, I feel like I am not a smart person right now. Or now you start to get those other thoughts in your head like, well, maybe this is the way it's going to be, or maybe I'm not that smart. Or then you start second guessing yourself, and then you start playing that mind
spiral, brother.
Oh, forget it. No way. No dice. So all the nerve pain and just the recovery. And then here we are, and I'm just grinding it out, man, because I'm going back to work.
Yeah.
That's
mindset.
That's what I'm doing. I'm still going to go study for that sergeant's test like I was walking into that day. I'm reading the books. Yeah, I'm doing it by like the inflatable pool in my backyard with like my leg bandaged up because there's freaking bullet holes in it and my arm all whatever. But I'm still going to do it. I'm like, you can't stop me.
Right.
Impossible. So again, studying for that, I'm going to, occupational therapy like 3 times a week because again, I'm trying to get my really what they were looking for, especially in my case, was one of the tendons in my arm, because the bullet went through it and came close to it, shut it down.
Right.
So I couldn't turn a doorknob. Part of the stuff, or part of the OT things that we were doing in exercises, they'd give me like a claw hammer or like a ball peen hammer, and I would just have to rotate it.
Yep.
And again, a fully grown adult, you would think, yeah, anyone could handle and do that, right?
Right.
Dude, that was the hardest thing in the world. It was just so painful. Like, I couldn't turn it over. Like, it would just sit there like this, and I'd just be like, I can't do it. And then finally, after like 3 or 4 months, it came back online. Like, all of a sudden, I'm in my nerve guy's office, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, all right, let's see you curl your wrist. I went like that, and like everything fired back up, and he's like, that's a good sign. I'm like, fucking A.
Let's go.
And the thing about, but he always cautioned me, he's like, the thing about nerve injuries, because of this damage to your median nerve, is nerves heal super, super slow.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like an inch or something like that. Again, someone's gonna crucify me with the timing, but it's like an inch a month or like a centimeter a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. So how it's explained to me, it's like you have a 6-lane highway, right? And you cut it off down to 1 lane. Like then it goes to 2, then it goes to 3, but it's so slow.
Right.
So slow. I think they say 2 years like max for like the max amount you're gonna get.
And that's what he said. He's like, really? He's like, 18 months is kind of when we're gonna know what's up.
Yep.
He's like, but really, we're gonna know about it in about a year.
Yep.
Because at about a year, we should be able to see that progression, or at least it getting there. And if we don't, you have to sit, then we'll cross that bridge when it comes, basically what it kind of came down to. So again, getting there, I'm like, all right, I still got this constant nerve burn, this nerve thing in my hand going on. I'm working through getting off the drugs and everything. It's still painful. It's still doing all that. I'm going to therapy, once a week with my psychotherapist, and they were someone that I had seen previously in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the one thing about me and police work that I always said is like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I saw a therapist.
Right.
Whoop-de-doo.
And no one should be ashamed of it.
Yeah, cool story. Like, yeah, this is what I do, because I understood even then, not like I understand now, but I had the enough insight then that I didn't want to live my way in a shitty way anymore.
Yep.
I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I knew that the job and life and everything that comes with it all plays a role in it, especially, again, the traumas I experienced as a kid, the stuff that I saw on the streets, the calls that I couldn't get out of my head, the lack of sleep, the irritability, all that shit, like, it all boiled down to I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
And going to see a therapist isn't weak sauce. The only people telling you that you're weak for going to see a mental health therapist is either A, yourself,
Yep.
or B, someone else. And if that's somebody else, get them out
of your life.
Because what they're telling you is they're covering up something that's up with them.
Yep. 100%.
Something's going on
Projecting
there.
onto you. Yes.
Exactly. Projection. Great word. A great defense mechanism that a lot of us do, but that's what's going on there, man. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, go do what you got to do and take care of your business. That's not weak. That's more fucking strong and strength than anything.
That's in your control.
1,000. Hey, there's the hula hoop. You were paying attention earlier.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, man. Shit.
We're learning shit today, boys.
Hey, man. If you're not learning something new every day, you ain't doing life right.
100%. 100%.
I
watch Jeopardy, brother.
Dude, you got watch some Jeopardy, man. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with Ken Jennings. Again, I grew up watching Alex Trebek and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Ken's doing a good job.
100%. If you have a hobby in your life that doesn't bring you any benefit, like, why are we doing it? Like, learn something new. If you want to watch a YouTube video, fucking learn something new on YouTube, man. Like, there's plenty of times I woke up like, I wonder how Rome did this. And I just, like, deep dive into, like, Roman history. But it's, like, it's all benefit.
I just wish, there was something that we had today that could fit in the size of our hands that opened up the knowledge
like
to the entire universe. Yeah,
is crazy.
I wonder if there are any of those things. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, crazy. Anyways, but again, speaking like that, one of the big things that I found that helped me, before my incident, and what really kind of brought that mindfulness piece to me, and that really kind of slowed me down and slowed the rest of the world down to really the way life's pace was, is I taught myself how to play the guitar.
Okay.
at like 30 years of age.
Fuck it. Why not?
Dude, my wife, again, it was a birthday present to me because she knew I always wanted to try to play and learn and stuff like that. So she bought me a guitar. And yeah, man, that was like my thing. And so, you know, when you go to occupational therapy, you know, they want you to have goals. Like, oh, what are your goals? What are this? Which is great. And I'm like, well, first and foremost is like, I want to be able to run a handgun again and get back to work and get back to doing my thing. You know, number 2 is I want to be able to ride my motorcycle again because again, I lost all strength in my clutch hand and everything like that.
Right.
And I'm like, and number 3 is like, I want to play the guitar again. Because that's what brought me joy.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, I only was able to I could run a handgun still, not the way I would need to in a combat or police situation, stuff like that. I could still meet the qualifications for LEOSA and everything like that. But you know, I can ride a motorcycle again. Again, I put a special clutch on my bike. So it makes it easier and for me to do that. But I'll never play the guitar right-handed again. And I say right-handed because I can't make chord shapes. I can't do anything. I can't feel if like my fingers are on the strings and stuff like that. I'm pressing them down, it just burns, and I just can't do what I need to do to play. But you know, a guy I met who actually lost both his arms. He's a combat vet, and he was out, we were out fly fishing, and I was like complaining, like, freaking my left hand doesn't work. I can't do this shit. And he's like, dude, I lost both my hands. What the fuck are you complaining about? I'm like, damn.
Puts it in perspective for you, brother.
Ass.
Yeah.
All right. You are 1,000%. So one of these days, I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to try to go lefty and go from there.
If there's a will, there's a way, brother.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I'm not going to tell myself that I can't do it. I still got my guitars. You know, they're still good to go. Obviously for my kids if they want to play, but when it's my time to do that, it's going to be my time to do that.
Right.
So yeah. So, you know, the battle with going to therapy and stuff like that and doing all the things there, like 2-hour sessions, just processing the whole shooting and everything that happened around it, and just dealing with this existential crisis of how to identify with myself. Again, you talk, you know, again, we're humans. This is what we do. The small talk of the world. Hey, you know, I'm so-and-so. Hey, Ken, nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm Dominic. Nice to meet you. Hey, it's cool. What do you do for work? Right. It's always like one of like the first questions that always comes up, right? Yep. So we as police officers, first, we're going to lie about it if we don't know you.
Right.
I work in sanitation.
I'm a dolphin trainer.
I had actually one of the guys I work with was a dolphin trainer before he became a cop. Great dude. Love him. Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, you know, I'm a cop. So, dude, I grew up my entire, 30 some years wanting to be a police officer. That's all I want to do. That's all I know. 4th generation. It's in the blood, man. Like, that's all I know how to do. And I'm freaking damn good at it.
Yeah.
Now what? And then it was a lot of quiet and lonely nights, man. Because two things I learned, I kind of tell everyone, is especially with trauma, is when you go through traumatic incidents in your life, whether you get shot, 0 out of 10, don't recommend to anybody, or you lose a loved one, or something serious happens, divorce, this, that, and the other. In trauma, you find out how many friends you don't have.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, and all those guys and gals I worked with, I had a great relationship, love them, this, that, and the other. But in the end, of all those dozens of people, maybe 100, I don't know, of people, there's probably a handful that have been there and still there for me. And they know who they are because I tell them every time I talk to them. And if we take some time, and it's been a minute, but I always catch up with them, they know who the real ones are.
Yep.
And going through that and this illusion that your police department, fire department, whoever is your family. Hot take. Police departments aren't families. They're not your family. Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
So stop pretending like they are. I actually just written an article about this. It's going to be published very shortly with Combat Stress Magazine. And it's basically called organizational abandonment. It is a phenomenon that happens with employees, especially those who go through traumatic incidents or separation from their agencies, where basically all this connection and all this safety and belonging and everything like that is completely ruptured and severed on the organization's end.
Yeah.
And the employee's left abandoned and just, nope. And, you know, I'm going to say that, and I'm sure a lot of people at police departments will be like, oh, no, we're family. We got each other's backs, and we do this. And I'm going to sit there and say, bullshit, you don't. But at the same time, I'm also going to say, I don't blame you either.
Right.
Because the organization's responsibility is not to the individual employee. It is to, especially in public service, it is to the community and the population you serve.
Right.
And an injured officer who's disabled, or even a line of duty death and their family going forward, unfortunately, is not part of that equation. Because even though Ken Tworek went down and isn't going to be able to come back to work, 911 is still going to be called in the village of Oak Park, and the police are still going to have to respond.
Right.
That is their mission. So I don't blame them for the events that occurred afterwards and the organizational abandonment I felt from that agency and the people there. And there's a lot to unpack there, and maybe another day we can talk about that, but it's a hard thing, and a lot of officers, a lot of firefighters, and people that I've met along my path and my journey, when I talk about that organizational abandonment, man, does it freaking resonate.
Yeah.
It's the phone call stop. Nobody's coming to check on you no more. It's you don't exist.
Yeah.
And that's a hard freaking thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're the brotherhood. We're this, we're that, we're together, we're that. Like, it's service level, man.
Yeah. And and honestly and truthfully, you're replaceable, right? Your position's going to get filled.
You're a cog in the wheel.
Right. And I tell myself that as well. It's just like, I don't think it's personal.
It's not personal.
They have a wife or a family and kids and a career to worry about. And now they're studying for the sergeant's test or the next position that they want. And life goes on, you know,
it sure does.
And just like you said, like you treat that as your family. And at the time you probably believe it, but no one's going to be there besides your family and your close friends. And they will always stick with you. And I mean, my department was great for my shooting, phenomenal, and some will still reach out every now and then. But
sure,
again, like you said, a real one. You have one right here who's never left my side since day one.
Handsome.
And there's lacking hair, but handsome for sure.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Aerodynamic.
But and there's still some that will definitely reach out every now and then, and we still pick up right where we left off. So, and I don't have any hard feelings whatsoever.
There is none. So, and
right.
then and that's not like my message. That's not what I'm trying to say here. Is like I don't hold it against anyone. It's not like fuck you. How dare you not call me when I like, dude. You have a life to live, and you have to do what's in your control because you have your own vision and your own purpose and what you're doing here on this planet to do that.
Right.
It's okay. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find the ones that are the real ones that you have that are never going to let you go and never let you just surrender to the darkness and those dark, cold fucking nights.
Yeah.
Man, those are special and you hold on to them.
Yeah. There's always that saying that I'll think about it every now and pop up in my head, and it's just like, you know, when those demons come calling in the middle of the night, and it looks dark and gloomy, and it's like, call me, brother, like I'll be there for you. And like that's how I feel with my close friends or anyone in general who wants to reach out to me.
Sure.
And I will answer my phone, and
Absolutely.
I will be there. Yeah, 100%.
Because you understand what it's like.
Yeah. Oh God, and it can get dark.
You tell them, brother, and again, and before we went down you don't realize how many friends you don't have. Here's the other catch to it, and it's when it dawned on me about life, death, and purpose, and really realizing how if you're not paying attention to everything that's going on in the world and in you, you're missing out on so much.
So much.
And how lonely it can be. Because you've been so worried about yourself and in your own head. And again, the job does that to you. It's normal for the job to do that to you, and you need a piece of that to survive. Again, having great survival instincts, preparing, being hypervigilant, doing all that stuff, training like I fight, so I will fight like I've trained, doing all that kept me in the game and kept me alive, and it kept me in that combat mindset to do what I needed to do and be home that day.
Yeah, that drive to stay alive.
Absolutely. And it's great for gunfights.
Yes.
But it's not great for being human.
No, you're 100% correct.
Because, again, when we talk about like normal versus not normal and this, that, and the other, again, what we see and what we expose the cumulative stress and trauma we expose ourselves to is not what the rest of the world is seeing. It's just we are consumed by it on a daily, shiftly, whatever basis.
Yep.
So when you step out of that role and you realize in the middle of the night while you're sitting in your porch staring up at the sky and it's dark and it's cold and you're listening to the wind howl or the rain fall and you're just sitting there by yourself because your family's asleep and you're just there by yourself, you learn to listen and you learn to understand that there is more to life. And your purpose was not to wear polyester and Kevlar and carry a pistol.
Right.
Ken, you weren't listening. The signs were there and you weren't listening. But now it's time. Put up this wall. You're going to sit yourself out in timeout for a minute and figure shit out. And you're going to listen. And you're going to reflect. And what I have for you on the outside of this is going to be better than you ever imagined.
Right.
And that's the second piece that I learned through there. And when my vision came to me about what I needed to do for the rest of my life, because right around this same time, I had to come to the realization that I was never going to be in the saddle again.
Oh, and that's a hard pill to swallow, brother.
Again, it's the only thing I ever want to do, the only thing I would good at. And I'd be lying right now if I said, Ken, if you go back and go do police stuff, shit, I'd do it in a second.
Oh,
1,000%. I'd be like, all right, let's hook them up. Let's go, boys.
Think about it all the time, brother.
Let's like, I wake up one morning and it's like, oh man, your hand's great. Like, dude, cool. Like, that's awesome.
Let's party.
Yeah, let's go. All right, man. Give me a beat.
Yeah.
Give me a beat in a squad. Let's go.
Yeah.
I would do it.
And the cold reality is that that's not the purpose. Your purpose is something different now.
Correct. And reconciling that within myself and learning that I wasn't the end all be all, that I was putting myself above everybody and everybody else and just being selfish and not understanding how I connect with the rest of the world and how the rest of the world connects to me. And knowing that I am going one place and one place only, but my journey along the way is going to be the most helpful, inspiring thing that I could make it. Because in the end, that's all I know how to do. And that's all that's etched in my brain. And I'm going to stumble and I'm going to fall and I'm going to fuck up some shit along the way. Because again, what they don't teach you in the police academy is how to start your own business, how to go back to grad school and do all this and integrate and do all these things. Again, therapy and police work and like social work and police work, it's really surprisingly eerily similar.
Yeah.
I just don't do it with a gun and a vest anymore.
Yep.
I do it in other ways. So with that etched in my brain, it's like, I know I'm going to stumble and fall, but I don't care.
Right.
Don't care one bit whatsoever, because in the end, the one thing that I've learned a couple things in my life. Number one is every hardest day I've ever had, I've fucking looked at it and I've kicked its fucking ass because I'm still here undefeated. I'm the champ. I got the strap. I got the belt.
Right.
Hard days can't beat me.
Right.
Nobody can beat me.
Right.
The only person that can beat me is myself, and I'm not going to let myself freaking do that, because no way, no how. Because everything that I've been through, everything that I've done, I will not let that happen. And I will not let myself think that either. Now, the second thing, as I try to think about it, as I lose my train of thought, as I get all fucking pumped up, all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Again, right. And then we come to the second thing, and that's betting on yourself.
Absolutely.
Betting on yourself, man. When you've stood on the edge and the cliff looking at death, and you learn how we have made things important in our lives before and what they are now and what's important, everything is just, it just doesn't, like, I don't care about that. I don't care what the Joneses are doing down the block. I don't care what, Billy Bob or Jamie or the Johnsons are saying about Ken and the family. I really don't care.
Yeah.
None of that matters, because unfortunately I don't let other people into my head who don't belong there.
And how freeing is that?
It's the most amazing thing. Like when you realize that I don't have to be held down by a clock or anything with dollar signs or a job that, again, is going to tell me that I have to work midnights and rotate around the clock and do all this other shit. Once you realize that I have the choice and I have the power to do what I need to do because I've kicked every hard day's ass, I always bet on me and I always freaking win.
Yep.
And there's nothing that can stop me. There's nothing. Because in the end, whatever's out of my control is out of my control.
Exactly.
And if it's in my control, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go full bore. I'm going to go full barrels. Like, I don't care, because here are my priorities in life. Here are the boundaries that I hold for myself and hold for the people that are around me. This is how I try to inspire. This is how I try to lead. I can't make them follow me. If they're going to come with me, man, they're going to come with me, and it's going to be a hell of a ride, because I will because I will be fighting for them every single step of the way, like they've been there for me. That is what makes you powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
And just not giving a shit.
Yeah. Don't let fear take over, guys. Like if it looks like an insurmountable mountain to climb, guess what? Take one step at a time. Crawl first. On your hands and knees.
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Exactly. So do hard things. Just because it seems like it's going to be a difficult task, that's what makes it worthwhile.
Sure. And here's a great analogy. As you bring that up, it kind of triggers something else in my mind. Is, again, a concept I put out there to my students and even to my clients sometimes is I'll ask them, hey, what's your, like, imagine all your accomplishments that you've done in life, everything that you are proud of, that you would call an achievement. Again, it could be anything. Sometimes it's just waking up in the morning and getting out of bed.
To win.
Sometimes it's graduating high school, graduating college, doing this, doing whatever. I'm like, okay, you have all your accomplishments on this board. What is the one you are most proud of? Like, that, man, that's what I'm going to hold on to. That's it. And they pick it. I'm like, okay. All right, now let's go. What's your easiest one? Like, what do you mean my easiest one? I'm like, it's like that one accomplishment that you're like, whatever, this, that, and the other. Again, honestly, for me, it's probably my undergrad degree. Like, again, nothing against Western Illinois University or anything like that. I just didn't put a lot of effort into it, and I still got out of it what I needed to.
Right.
I still
got, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like, hey, I passed and I did fine, and it was a great experience, and I never ever want to do it again because of all the other stuff. But yeah, I have a bachelor's degree. Cool. Like, that's would be mine. Here, my clients are students. I'm like, okay. I'm like, now let's retrace. Now we looked at the easiest one. What's the hardest thing you've ever done? Your hardest, when you look at your accomplishments, what's the hardest one? Oh shit. Well, then I think I always go back to which one I'm most proud of. I'm like, why do you think that is? It's the hard things in life. It's not the easy road. It's not the 4-lane highway that really defines someone and their life and where they're going and what they're doing.
Right.
It's not that. It's the hard ones. That's resilience.
Oh, absolutely.
That's strength. That is where you've put your everything you can to the test, and you've come out the other side with something in your hand to hold up and be proud of. A lot of times it's kids, could be degrees, could be business, could be whatever. but it's the hard things. So why do we as people always try to take the easy way?
Right.
Well, really, we're kind of built for taking the easy way. We're built for kind of making quick decisions and making sure that everything feels right in our lives and
The comfortable.
I mean, again, I even talk about it sometimes with, people with substance use, and it's like they know the consequences of drinking and drugging and doing all that.
Mhm.
They know the consequences of being in certain relationships, whether it's domestic violence, this, that, and the other. They know the consequences, and someone on the outside looks like, well, why they should have just known. They should have just got over it, or they
Right.
should just stop doing it. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Just stop it. Yeah.
just stop it.
Yeah.
When I think of that,
Fuck.
crazy. Sometimes taking that step out of like, even knowing that you're in a really bad situation is still not as scary as taking that step towards health and recovery, because that's scary, because in your life, all you've ever known is this. Now you're going to do something else that's different.
100%.
You don't know what it's going to be like. And that's scary to humans.
Yeah, and we want the path less traveled every single time. And it's like this happens every single time. You always take the same path. How about take a new path? Take the new path. Like, okay,
It's hard.
you might have to build it yourself, but when you
Right.
actually build it, you're going to find your life's way better than taking the shitty path.
It's again, we come back to like the hardest achievements are
Right.
always the ones that we are most proud of. And there's a part of us always that wants to know that we're leaving legacy and we're leaving something behind. Again, the easy path is the easy path. Here's another great example I would always do with like different college students. I'm like, hey, you walk into class, right? None of these seats are assigned, right? First day of class, you walked in, you sat down. Every single class after that, did you sit in the same seat? Well, yeah. Well, why?
Right.
Simple analogies to prove a point. It's just, if we know it, we're comfortable, we know what we're going to get out of it.
It's the familiar pain, right?
It's the doing the hard things, and it's changing the way we think to set ourselves up for success. Because again, it's okay to just sit back and say, you know what, I'm going to do 30 years in a job and do this, get my pension, I'm going to retire, I'm going to move to Florida, play golf every single day and do that. That's awesome. I love it, because we need people like that in the world. And I'm proud of every cop, fireman, any Joe Schmo citizen who can do that and live the life and be great for their family. But then there's a few others, the people that dare to go outside of those
Mm-hmm.
and just are willing to take on criticism, critique, and everything else, and step out of that comfort zone and say, you know what? Fuck it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to send it, because I have this thought in my head and I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And if you can't let it go, it is there for a reason. So Dominic, I've listened to your podcast. I know what's driving you and I know why you're here. Brother, I'm behind you 1,000%. You are doing what you need to do. And that takes courage, guts, and you will not be sorry, man.
Oh, brother, I
Great
appreciate
things,
that.
great things, because it's people like you in this world that make this world a special place. And it builds those connections that we were talking about earlier. We are not meant to be by ourselves. We are
Right.
meant for this. We're not meant to be behind screens.
Agreed, brother. Make the world a better place.
And
What
that-
good are you putting in?
Exactly. I mean, again, you're here for a temporary basis, and that's just it. You have the people you love and the people that care about you and you care about, and you have them around you. How can you leave that legacy behind? I want to be successful in what I'm doing. Of course I do.
Right.
The 3-block solutions, yes, 1,000%. I want every suburban, every police department, every sheriff's department, every fire department to call me up and be like, Ken, we want you in here. Give us your presentation. Do you. Tell us how it is. No fluff. Great approach. Scientifically backed. Experience backed. We want you to come in. Success, right? If I were to tell you that it would mean more to me if I only got one call, but out of that room, that one firefighter, police officer, dispatcher came up to me and said, you know what, Ken, I listened to what you had to say, and I've been going through some dark times and thinking about making choices that would take everything else in my life out of control, dude, you're right. I'm ready to step out of this comfort zone and either get the help I need or say something to someone I love that needs it. And I'm going to be there for them because I was missing this the whole time.
Yep.
That one time, done. Job's done.
It's worth its weight in gold, brother.
1,000%. And I call it, I want to be significant. I don't care about success.
Right.
And I don't know how that sounds to some people, and it's a weird thing for even me to say. I don't care because my life and my purpose, I know it's temporary. I know I am in a position to do what I can, and no matter how hard it got, I can beat it, and I can do what I can and do what I can for my family. I don't care. But if I can be significant in one other person's life and get them the help they need where they don't either A, kill themselves, because, hey, guess what? You threw a badge and a uniform on today for one day. Congratulations. You have a 70%, you're 70% more likely to kill yourself.
Yep.
Welcome to the profession.
Yep.
Congratulations. You just increased your chance of getting cardiovascular disease, respiratory illness, different types of cancer that have to do with our digestion and all this other stuff. Congratulations.
Welcome to the career.
Welcome to the career. Great time, right? And
Yeah.
that's a lot of where this, again, the trust and the trauma go. But all of this increases the second you put on that uniform. But you're putting on that uniform for a specific purpose, to live it out. Why don't you love yourself back and let yourself love the people that love you too?
Oh, yeah. But that's sometimes the hardest part.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Because we know everything. We're going to fix everything.
Oh, 100%.
Shit, I'll clear this call in 15 minutes with the report written. I got this.
New course record.
Yeah, exactly. There's hope. And again, like I said before, you don't need to get shot a couple times to do this.
Right. Don't learn the hard way the way we had to learn.
Like again, 0 out of 10. Don't recommend.
Do not recommend.
There's will for that. And
save yourself the trouble. Learn from what you're saying here, from what he's saying here. Ken's saying 100%.
Dude, what I'm saying. What about what you saying? Man?
Right. Agreed. But like, listen to these people. Don't just say like, oh, they fucking know. This is all crunchy bullshit. We're talking about feelings and blah 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 blah. Like,
when have I once said about feelings today?
Well, I'm just saying it. I'm generalizing.
No, but like again, it's to my point, and it's even kind of how I introduce myself to a lot of these classrooms. Because again, in the end, guess what? Not everybody needs therapy, folks. Not every cop,
Right.
not every firefighter, not every whatever vet, this, that, and the other needs therapy. That is not my message.
Right.
One at all. Some that do need it, get it. If you don't need it, there are just some things you can change and start to look at
Simple
in your
things.
life and do.
Change your perspective. Right. Exactly.
But the one thing I'm not going to sit here and say, if you come to my office and you're like, hey, Ken, I want to have some therapy and do all that, cool. That's a whole different program. Let's do the therapy thing
Right.
and we'll do this. I am not going to ask you how you feel.
Right.
I am not going to be that person who sits there on like a bump on the log, like I've heard, where it's just like, oh, tell me how that made you feel. Well, I don't know. Well, how does it not knowing make you feel? Like, no, like that is not what we're going to do. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think about it. I want to know what your insight level's at. I want to know what's really driving you nuts in your head, in your life, and what's going on, so we can work together on a treatment plan, get some goals together, and we can really shape the way that you can help heal yourself. Because in the end, me sitting in the chair doing therapy,
Oh, absolutely.
guess who's not? I'm not doing shit.
No.
It's like I say to people, I'm a professional question asker. That's all I do is I ask questions because I don't give advice. 8 billion people in the world. Guess what? There's only one person that will ever live your life, past, present, future. One person, and that's you.
Yep.
So if you are the only person that lives your life, how can you sit there and say, you know what? I'm going to take this guy's advice. He knows what's good for me. They know what's good for me. Only you know what's good for you. You have the answer. Sometimes you just got to talk it out. You got to get out of your own head and out of these own negative thoughts that are going through and change that up. And that's what, again, the therapist angle is there. I'm here to ask questions. I'm here to be your soundboard, bounce stuff off. Yes, I ask questions in a specific way. Yes, I offer different intervention and different things to suggest to maybe try or maybe go this way, or have you thought about thinking about it this way?
Right.
Yes, there's ways that I do that and I've been trained to do it. But in the end, I'm not doing any of the work. My clients are doing the work.
And they have to do the work. No one's going to do it for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like field training.
Right.
Hey, Rook, hey, man, I know how to do this job. I could tell you how to do this job. I could show you how to do this job. But in the end, when you're behind the wheel and you're answering those radio dispatches and you're doing what you're doing, you're the one that has to do it, not me.
Right.
I can't do it for you. And I'm not trying to say that I can do it for you. All I'm saying is there's another way and there's another how. So that's like my angle when it comes to therapy, when I'm talking to, again, a group of, firefighters, police, whatever. That's my message. It's not I'm not here to tell you everybody needs therapy. I'm just here to tell you that the cumulative trauma and everything that's been going on in your life and how you view the world and all these like little like behavioral things that you think are completely normal, quote unquote. Yeah, that's just the normal body's reaction to trauma. But when someone doesn't have all that trauma in their life, that's not how that's not how we connect. That's not how we do things. So if you start noticing these things, and now we start talking about, again, what are our boundaries, control, purpose, and this, that, and the other, how you can set your life up. Now you start, again, making a plan for yourself, and you start thinking differently and interrupting that the whole world is bad, the whole world is screwed up. Mental health is for the weak.
Right.
All that shit goes out the fucking window because it's bullshit. Again, there's not a stronger person than the person who steps into my therapy office for the first time. There's no stronger person in that moment, right then, right there.
Agreed.
Because it's not weak. Weak is avoiding. Weak is taking that easy way. Weak is like, oh yeah, that's just the easy thing to do. Here we come full circle, right back to where I started, where it's, listen, the hardest things are the best things.
Yep.
So send it.
Send the whole thing, baby.
I love it.
Love it. So let's, we're probably getting short here on time, brother. So let's dive into 3 blocks.
All right. So 3 block solutions. Everyone's like, Ken, the fuck is 3 block solutions? I'm like, listen, it's a way to memorialize, and a lot of it has, there's a lot of context to what 3 block solutions is, but 3 block, every platoon, every shift, every fire group has a personality in your shift. Am I right? Am I wrong?
No,
am I talking shit here?
No, great.
But again, a group of guys and gals running and gunning together in the world, doing what they can, doing the superhuman stuff, doing the superhero stuff. Each shift has its own personality. Well, back in the days of the Oak Park Police Department, I happened to be on our platoon 3. So basically, we were sitting around our squads one day, what we call meets, eats, and sleeps, and just kind of hanging out. And we are just getting absolutely peppered with in-progress calls, paper jobs, like the whole kit and caboodle.
Whole gambit, yeah, oh yeah, baby.
Like we're just going.
Yeah.
We're just going balls to the wall. You go 10-8, you got calls stacked for you on your box, and you got to get going. And the thing about our shift is we had attitude. We had this way about us that we were, first and foremost, we were going to get the job done. No matter what it took, we were getting the job done. We had each other's backs. We were strong. We were willing to go out there and do what we needed to do. The other thing about our shift is we were very resilient and adaptive, meaning that we always found ways to get out of the stickiest of problems, let's say. And we were always able to, what we could control our own destinies. We knew how to manage the shift. We knew how to manage the calls. We knew how to manage our sergeants. We knew how to manage our commander. Like we knew what we were the clowns running the circus, basically.
Inmates running the asylum.
That was our shift, and everybody knew it. They're like, oh yeah, platoon 3. So all of a sudden we're sitting around, we're like, nah, that ain't platoon 3, that's 3 block.
That's 3 block. There we go.
3 block. Like, like, man, you're in the joint. Like that's like the cell block you're in. Like you got like the pod bosses and you got all that stuff. So we were just 3 block. And that's how the rest of the agency came to know us. Like, again, you had like the other shifts where like, again, the deuce was the crew, like, the deuce was like platoon 2, and like, platoon 1 was our mid. So they were just mids, but then they're like, oh man, fucking 3 Block was on that call.
It was a shit show.
It was a shit show, but like they had all, like we were the Goon Squad before like the Goon Squad became
brother.
popular. Like we were, again, it brings us back to when things needed to get done. They knew who they could tap, and it was the 3 Block. So so basically that's where the inspiration kind of came from, and thinking about what made our shift so impactful and kind of what I learned about myself and what I feel like are the building blocks to building a better life for yourself, better life, or a better organization, better culture. It really kind of revolves around 3 things. It's the ability to be resilient. It's ability to withstand the hottest fires, all the bullets flying at you, no matter what, all the limitations in manpower, resources, assets, whatever you need. You're resilient because you're going to get through it, because no matter what, you have to be.
Yep.
There's no failure's not an option. We don't quit around here.
Yeah.
Resilient. You also have to be adaptable. You have to be able to move with the times, go with the ebbs and flows, know when it's time to pick it up and know when it's time to back off and kind of let things simmer down or let that breathe a little bit.
Right.
Or when it's time to hit the gas and let's go. You have to be adaptable. You got to know who you're dealing with, what they need, what their needs are, and what you need to do and how to accomplish the mission. And the third one is, dude, man, you just got to have courage.
Yep.
Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's just jumping up in the saddle and fucking doing it anyways.
Let's ride, boys.
And just doing it. And that's really where the 3 Block Solutions came from. And that's what it was to me. And then in November of 2024, so I was the first officer in Oak Park history. I take that back. The first officer since like the late 80s, 1983, 84, I don't know the exact year, that was shot in the line of duty.
Yeah, I think we share something very similar.
Yeah. Unfortunately, 3.5 years after my shooting was the second officer that was shot in the line of duty, and he was murdered.
Yeah, I remember that.
Detective Alan Reddins.
Yeah.
And Alan is a part of every conversation I have when it comes to agencies, every presentation, because Alan didn't make it home that day, and I did. And I wouldn't be doing his memory or any memory of any officer, any firefighter, vet, whoever that lost their life in the line of duty. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't acknowledge them and do it for them. Their sacrifice can't be in vain. I won't let it happen. It's part of my vision. And when it comes down to it, I was 3 Block, so was Alan.
Hell yeah, brother.
So that's where it came from. That's the origin story of 3 Block Solutions, and that's why I do what I do.
It's a sick name, brother. And
I know, like people kind of like look at me, they're like, "What? Like 3 Block? 3 Block? You got to say it right, and you got to flex a
say
little
with your
bit."
chest, yeah.
Yeah, say with your chest. Stealing that.
Hey, it's yours.
I love it, man. But that's kind of where it came from. So that's where the name came from, and I really didn't want. I see a lot of these companies out there, and I see a lot of people out there in the space kind of doing similar things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to bag on anybody who's out there doing the work.
Good,
because in the end, some works for some, others work for others.
Right.
And if some guy or gal gets help that they need, freaking love it.
Yep.
But the one thing I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to get away from the very police forward thing. Because the one thing I learned about, especially during research and my graduate work, is that cop, I'm not just a cop, but I have so much in common with my firefighter brethren and sister.
It all translates.
It does. Dispatchers, all these people, even crazy thing, surgeons.
Yep.
I mean, how many times are they doing life-saving surgery and they lose a patient, and then all of a sudden, here's the next thing is they have to move on to the next one.
Healthcare workers, absolutely.
It's patient to patient to patient.
Yeah.
But all professions who face cumulative amounts of trauma have these same symptoms because that's the body's normal reaction to it. So I wanted to be able to lend myself out to the masses and be a little more generalizable, I think is the right word I want to use in the situation.
It works.
And just say, hey, yeah, I'm not just for cops.
Right.
I'm not just for firemen. I'm not just for telecommunicators. I'm not just for doctors. Not just for security. Not just for vets. You know, really what I'm here for is I'm here for the people that are willing and wanting to make a change.
Hell yeah, brother.
And again, any way I can do that to help, like I'm gonna go to bat for you, because that's all I know how to do, because I've seen the other side and it don't look good. Zero
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, man. Life after service is looking good on you, brother.
I'm trying. It's again, it's a battle every single day, because I'm still learning to be human.
Right. And here's the thing, you're never going to know everything.
No.
So if you come
And
to
the
a point,
second you know everything,
Yes.
it's time to pull a pin.
yeah, 100%. Agreed, brother. So what kind of what do you guys offer at 3 Block Solutions?
All right, so with 3 Block Solutions, again, our really bread and butter is our wellness presentations, our wellness workshops, where I come in and work with shifts, different platoons, whoever, and give out different presentations, really kind of tailored to the agency and their specific needs. Because before I go in there, the first thing I want to talk to is I want to talk to either the peer support leader that I'm talking to, the chief, the chief or the fire chief or whoever that I'm talking to, and find out, hey, what's going on here? What's going on, and kind of get their take on it, so I really know where to focus and where to kind of key in at. And then I put together my presentation and I deliver it. It's usually 2 hours, because what I found, especially being on the other side of the presentation room, is that our attention spans kind of like drift away.
Mhm.
I wonder what I'm having for lunch today.
Right.
Should I get a gyro? That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But
100%.
like all that stuff's going on. So I cap it at 2 hours, do like, again, 50 minutes, do a break again. Then we hit the rest of it, and we just knock it out. And we just have this very upfront and open and honest conversation where I just am Ken. Again, yes, I throw in all the academics and the research and all that blah, 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 and all that other stuff, and the stories about myself, but I try to be as real as possible with the knowledge that I have and the experience that I have, and explain to them why it's not possible for you to leave everything at work. It does not work that way. It's impossible.
Right.
And this is what's going on. This is why. And hey, the first hour, we talked a lot about the problems. Now let's start talking about the solutions.
Right.
Because if I have an issue, I want to try to find a way to fix it, or at least give it the best go I can at finding the solution to it. Because that's what we did as police officers. Hey, we have a problem. They call us. All right, let's try to fix it.
Right.
And so really, there's the solutions part of the 3 Block. But like that back end is really talking about resiliency and leadership and changing the way we think. And when I talk about being a person who, develops leadership development and stuff like that, the first place I always start with, and we touched on this earlier, is everybody wants to change the world and change their organization and do all of that. That's awesome. But in order to accomplish that, you got to start with yourself first.
Oh, absolutely.
Because self-awareness, accountability, respecting the expertise, curiosity, all these different qualities make great leaders, because your employees don't really have to follow you. They have to follow the general orders, SOPs, and like whatever else. Like that's all they have to do, but they don't owe you anything.
Right.
So if you're not giving to them what you expect in return, you're just dragging your heels and spinning your wheels, man. You're not getting the job done. So my first start is like, let's start with the individual. Let's start with the frontline people, because the best leaders I've ever met in this profession aren't the ones with stars and bars on their collars. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them are slick sleeves, like us. Those are the leaders. Those are that's the lifeblood of an organization. And I can't take away traumatizing calls. I can't take away that you work 24 and you're off 48. I can't take away that there's mandatory overtime, because guess what? You can't you can't retain employees. I can't take that away. But here's what you can do. You can make it better while you're here.
Yep.
And you can be there for the people that are out there on the front lines with you. And that's really where leadership starts from. So yes, the wellness programs, that seems to be, that's my hot ticket item. Cultural assessments, where I take a deep dive into the organization itself, where I start with the chief, administrators, and stuff like that, and I pretty much conduct a research study of that agency. I find out what the strengths are, weaknesses, where things may be lacking from a culture point of view. Again, well, we throw pizza parties every other. Okay, nobody cares.
Right.
I had a sergeant tell me once that I didn't deserve no pizza because I couldn't sign out an AED. But that's a fucking true story. True story.
You deserve pizza.
Y'all don't deserve no pizza. Anyways, but really it's a research study into the cultural assessment of the organization, and it's really basically showing our administrators and showing the departmental and the department heads, hey, this is what's going on. This is what the data is telling me. This is how I'm interpreting the data. This is how I came to it. This, that, and the other. Again, all NDAs, all confidential and stuff like that, because understanding how first responders are and understanding that it's us against them. And I'm not talking about the first responder and the public. No, I'm talking about the first responder and their admin. I'm talking about that and like bridging that gap and saying, hey, this is what's being said. This is what's going on. It's not just one guy, the salty, 32-year veteran on midnights who has, whatever issues going on in his life, why he can't retire yet.
Right.
It's not just him. Like, this is what we're seeing. And a lot of it also is during these interviews is also finding out if a lot of these issues that they're having are even real things, because part of, again, the cumulative trauma and the stress that we're doing, that we're experiencing, as I fumble over words, one of our defense mechanisms that we have is projection.
Yeah.
And it's one of our favorites, or displacement. Displacement's another one where things in the agency aren't going well. Well, whose fault is it? Well, it's the chief's. That son of a gun is doing all this and blah, blah. They don't care about this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what aren't they doing? What could they be doing better? I don't know. Support us better. I'm like, what does that mean to you? Like, I really try to go in depth, and sometimes it just finds out that the chief isn't really the problem. Really, the problem is these officers just feel completely left out and isolated, and now they're just retreating into their own shell.
Yeah.
And staying away from it, and all these hard experiences that they're seeing on the street, and they just have to put the blame somewhere. Yeah. So where's the easiest place to put the blame? Our administrators. So, again, at the same time, heavy's the head that wears the crown. Part of being a chief, part of being the boss. So we look into that, and again, I'm always putting out proposals for different conferences throughout the United States and speaking at different places. Again, really spreading this message about officer wellness and really trying to promote the proper leadership to develop a peer support program, to really take into consideration officer wellness and how you do things going forward, and just kind of really giving my spiel about a lot of what we talked about today and how it could be beneficial and the different areas we can do that. Again, I go a lot more into different techniques like breath work, really sleep, physical activity, and all these other things that have been proven to help the individual. So I do that at different conferences. Again, I've been to the National Concerns of Police Survivors Conference in New Orleans last year. They want to have me back in San Diego this year, so I'm putting together something as we speak right now for them. As we're recording this, next week is the 100 Club of Illinois Frontline Convention. I'm speaking there next week. Plenty of other different engagements I have in the works and have been through, but those are really the ones that have been the highlight for me thus far. So, and it's building those relationships in those conference rooms and then being reached out to afterward. And it's like, hey, Ken, dude, I love what you have to say, man. Come on in. We're really pumped about having you and doing all this. And that's the benefit of it all.
Absolutely.
So, and honestly, the other piece of the puzzle a lot of times is, guys and gals who just maybe don't want the whole therapy because it's locked into their brain, or they're worried about their agency firing out and this, that, and the other. I do offer what I call executive coaching. or whatever, that take it for whatever you want it to mean, but it's not medical diagnosis. I'm not diagnosing you. It's not like really like, it's not therapy, because the therapeutic relationship is a lot different than the coach. But really, a lot of it is just me and individuals either talking on their time, hitting the gym, going to dinner, grabbing coffee, and doing all these things and just bouncing ideas back and forth to really help them out along their journey.
Yeah.
And giving them different insights that I have along the way, not as a clinician, obviously, but more as just someone who's been there and someone who knows that really the only person that's telling you you can't do something is yourself.
Agreed, brother.
So 3 Block Solutions, you can find me at my website, www.3blocksolutionsllc.com. I'm also on Instagram at 3blocksolutionsllc.com. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Ken Tworek. And again, I have everything out there that I'm kind of doing and what's going on, and I'd love to hear from you. Again, I'm really just trying to be significant in this world. Success is whatever. But if you're looking to change the way you think, or you're just open to the idea of it, just shoot me a call, shoot me an email, shoot me a DM, and I'd be more than willing to just chat with you about it and see where we can go with it. Again, all those deputy chiefs, lieutenants, and all those admin out there, if you're looking for a Let's Be mandate credit for your agency for officer wellness hours, give me a call. Again, I've been working with NEMERT. I got my program worked out, getting the Let's Be hours. Hold on, let me redo this part.
You're good, brother.
Again, I've been working with NEMERT, going back and forth with them, getting my 2-hour program approved for a Let's Be certification, so it meets the officer wellness mandates that are through the state. I take care of all the NEMERT paperwork. All you got to do is just, give me a call. We'll set up a time, host it out. I can come out wherever, and I'll be there and willing to share my insights with your team, because, again, that's what I'm here for, and that's what I want to do.
Absolutely, brother. I mean, everything you've said in this whole podcast, after everything from start to finish, I feel like you are achieving that goal you're trying to hit, is just trying to help people. And you are. It doesn't matter how successful. I think what you are doing, the byproduct is going to be success, because it's everything you said, very powerful, resonated with me. Hopefully that resonated with somebody listening today. And hopefully that saves someone's life, man, because that's what it's all about, brother. Is there anything else you want to say before we take off?
I just want to remind everybody that, and I'm going to get back to kind of where I started, is just we only get one life in this world, and you don't have to let your past define you. You don't have to let the hard days win. You don't have to think that you lost something, when in front of you the world is far greater with you here in it and you doing what you're doing. That is power. That is purpose. And it's not found in the past, and it's not found in the future. It's found right here, right now.
Amen, brother. Well, dude, I'm so happy you reached out, because this was a great episode, brother.
Dude, I had to.
Yeah.
I felt, and again, I saw you pop up. I'm like, Dom, we connected a while ago, and you know people that I know, and it was like, man, I watched your stuff. I listened to your stuff. I'm like, dude, I love what this guy's doing. I'm like, there's something about it. There's something about it. And then you give me a shout while I was out of town. I'm like, I was with my wife at the time, and my buddy and his girlfriend. I'm like, dude, I have to take this phone call.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to. I'm like, I know what we're doing right now, but I need to take this phone call. I need to talk to this guy, because there's something about this dude.
Dude, you picked up the phone call, and it was just like we were friends, like we've been friends for years, and
we have been.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed, man. So, dude, thank you so much. It's been an honor for you to come on, and I appreciate what you shared with the audience. And you guys, reach out. You're not gonna be disappointed. Matt, you have anything? No? Matt's just shaking his head behind there like an old man with his glasses.
Thank you, Matt. You're fantastic.
You're fantastic, brother.
If no one's told you today, you're a rock star.
You are a rock star. We appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Dispatch. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys in the next one.